When lights dim, Earth begins a second shift. For 2.5 hours, here 100 facts about night animals. First, owl feather fringes that hush flight. If calm science helps you unwind, tap, like, and save now. So this is waiting tonight. Imagine a forest under thin starlight, where the world is gentle and soft around the edges. At night, vision is less about crisp detail and more about noticing that something is there at all. Many nocturnal animals build that sensitivity by filling their retinas with rod cells, the light-catching photoreceptors made for darkness. Rods can respond to very small amounts of light, but they do not separate fine colors the way cone cells do. So the trade is calm and practical. More sensitivity, less color, and often less sharpness. Rods carry a light-catching pigment called rhodopsin, which is tuned to respond when photons are scarce. After bright light, rhodopsin needs time to reset, so sudden glare can temporarily reduce night sensitivity. That is why many nocturnal animals avoid direct bright beams and prefer steady darkness that keeps their vision ready. Instead of a tiny sharp fovea, some species use a broader visual streak, a band of higher sensitivity across the retina. This can help them monitor the horizon for slow movement, even when the whole scene is painted in dim, bluish tones. In dim light, some brains also combine signals from many nearby rods, like gathering small whispers into one clear message. This pooling is called summation, and it can make faint movement easier to detect in near black conditions. The cost is that the exact location of a point of light becomes less precise, because many signals share the same pathway. If you have ever noticed your own night vision feels a little blurrier, you have felt that trade in action. Another quiet adjustment involves time, not space, because in darkness, the eye can benefit from a longer moment of collecting light. Some species perceive flicker more slowly in low light, which can help them integrate faint photons across a slightly longer window. It is like holding a camera shutter open a touch longer without ever calling attention to it. This can make motion look smoother, but very rapid changes may be harder to separate at night. In many animals, the pupil also opens wide in darkness, letting more light enter the eye in the first place. A wide pupil is a simple gait, and it is often the first step before the retina does anything clever. Still, opening the pupil too far can reduce depth of focus, so the image can become softer at the edges. Night vision often accepts that softness because detection matters more than perfection when the light is scarce. Now picture a single photon, a tiny packet of light, reaching an eye after traveling from moonlit leaves. For a rod cell, even that tiny arrival can matter, as long as the signal can rise above the background noise. Many nocturnal retinas reduce noise by using chemical pathways that are stable and patient, favoring slow, reliable responses. This is one reason dim light vision can feel calmer, with fewer sharp jumps in brightness. In bright daylight, cones excel at speed and color. But in darkness, rods take the lead with quiet sensitivity. Some animals blur the boundary, keeping specialized cones that still work when light is low but not absent. That balance can matter on moonlit nights when there is enough light for color to be useful again. Before we reach those extreme cases, we can visit another helpful trick that gives light a second chance. In many mammals, a reflective layer sits behind the retina called the tapetum lucidum. When light passes through the retina without being absorbed, the tapetum can reflect it back, letting photoreceptors try again. This is why eyes can seem to shine when a flashlight hits them at night, because reflected light returns outward too. The tapetum is not a lamp, and it does not create light. It only recycles what is already present. Different structures can reflect different hues, so eye shine may look green, gold, blue, or pale white, depending on species. This recycled light can improve sensitivity, especially when the animal is scanning for movement at low contrast. There is also a cost, because reflected light can scatter a little, which can reduce image sharpness. So again, the pattern holds: mechanism, benefit, and a gentle trade that fits a nocturnal lifestyle. If you imagine a deer in moonlight, that eye shine can be a sign of sensitivity, not a sign of aggression. Predators with tapetum can also show eye shine, and the color alone does not tell you who is hunter or hunted. Later, we will return to eye shine and why bright city lighting can make it risky for both sides. Light helps, but too much sudden light can also expose an animal or temporarily wash out its sensitivity. Some nocturnal animals reduce that risk by choosing darker paths or by timing activity to calmer, dimmer hours. Beyond reflective layers, the front of the eye can also be shaped to gather more light. Owls are a classic example, with large eyes relative to their skulls and broad corneas that emit more light. The cornea and lens together act like a quiet funnel, guiding dim light onto the retina with less waste. Many owls also have tubular eye shapes, which can increase the effective focal length and support a larger image on the retina. Because those eyes are held firmly in place, owls rely on smooth head turns rather than eye movements to aim their gaze. This design favors steady, low-light viewing, and it pairs well with careful, patient hunting. Not every nocturnal animal uses the same plan, which is part of what makes night ecology so varied. Some have smaller eyes but stronger senses elsewhere, while others invest heavily in vision as their main guide. Pupil shape is another clue, and it often matches how an animal moves and hunts. Vertical slit pupils are common in ambush hunters that wait close to the ground, like many small cats and some snakes. Slits can close tightly in daylight to protect the retina, then open at night to admit light without losing all depth cues. They can also help with judging distance up close, which matters when a hunter needs a precise pounce. Round pupils are more common in animals that move actively and scan broadly, where a wide field of view is useful. In practice, there is overlap, but the general link is lifestyle, waiting and striking versus roaming and tracking. Even the muscles that open and close the pupil can be tuned for the animal's typical light changes. A crepuscular animal, active at dawn and dusk, may need fast pupil control as light shifts minute by minute. A deep nocturnal animal may experience steadier darkness and may favor stable sensitivity over quick switching. In many species, the retina itself can adjust, shifting which circuits dominate depending on light level. Think of it as dimmer settings, where different pathways quietly come online as the world darkens. Now let us widen the view to the most extreme examples where night pushes vision toward its limits. Some nocturnal geckos have been shown to keep color vision usable in light as dim as moonlit nights. Researchers found that their cone-like photoreceptors can still separate colors when many other animals would rely on rods alone. This may help a gecko choose prey, spot ripe fruit, or recognize surfaces even when the light is faint and cool. It is a reminder that color is not only for bright flowers and sunny days, it can matter in the dark too. These geckos often have very large pupils and sensitive retinas, combining optical gathering with neural processing. The trade may include lower sharpness, but for a small climber, even a broad color cue can be enough. Another striking specialist is the tarsier, a small primate with eyes so large they dominate its face. Tarsier eyes are largely fixed in their sockets, so the animal compensates by rotating its head in wide, smooth arcs. Those big eyes gather more light, helping the tarsier detect insects and small prey in the darkness. The cost is weight and space, so the skull and neck must support that equipment with strong, balanced structure. Across species, you can hear the same quiet theme. Night vision is a collection of compromises that feel peaceful when they work. More rods, more pooling, and longer integration help an animal notice life in near black conditions. Reflective tapeta, wide pupils, and large corneas help deliver scarce light where it can be used. And in special cases, like some geckos and tarsiers, the solutions become bold, yet still gentle in purpose. As you listen, you can picture night vision as borrowing light, using it twice, and stretching it across time. In the next section, we will let vision fade a little and follow the next quiet superpower, hearing that maps the dark. As the light thins out, sound becomes a soft kind of map. In darkness, a tiny rustle can carry more meaning than a clear view. If you had to choose, would you rather have night vision or night hearing? Many nocturnal hunters seem to vote for hearing. because it works through leaves and shadows. Sound is simply vibration traveling through air and through the ground, and sometimes through water. But to use it well, an animal has to shape it, focus it, and measure it. Owls are a gentle classic because their faces are built like listening tools. An owl's facial disc, that round fan of feathers, can help funnel sound toward the ears. Those feathers form a shallow bowl, guiding faint noises inward without needing any movement. In calm air, that can make a mouse step sound clearer, even under soft snow or dry leaves. Owls also tend to have very quiet feather edges, but tonight we stay focused on what they hear. Many owl species have ear openings that are not perfectly matched left to right. One ear opening may sit a little higher and the other a little lower. That small mismatch helps the owl judge whether a sound comes from above or below. It is a quiet trick for up and down direction when vision is limited. The brain compares the timing and loudness at each ear, and it learns the geometry of space. If a rustle reaches the left ear a breath earlier, the owl turns with calm precision. If a sound is slightly louder on one side, that also hints at direction and distance. Distance is harder, but repeated tiny cues can build a reliable guess. Many owls also have dense feathering around the head, which can reduce self-noise while listening. The result is not magic, just careful engineering, tuned by survival. Not all nocturnal hunters have facial discs, yet many still build ears that favor faint signals. Large external ears, like those of some foxes and many bats, increase sensitivity to quiet sounds. A bigger ear can collect more vibration, much like a wider opening gathers more breeze. In some desert mammals, big ears also help release heat, so one structure serves two needs. But as a listening tool, a large ear can catch fine details, like the scrape of an insect. Some animals can even rotate their ears, aiming them like slow antennae. That aiming can separate overlapping sounds, picking one thread from a whole nighttime weave. A small predator may pause, tilt its head, and let the world speak for a moment. Even for animals without obvious ears, the skull and jaw can transmit vibration to inner hearing organs. Hearing begins with a pressure wave, but meaning begins in the brain. Brains often use a simple method first, compare left and right, then refine the guess with experience. That is why young animals may misjudge direction at first, then improve with practice. A forest at night is cluttered with echoes because leaves and trunks reflect sound. So some hunters benefit from hearing that is tuned to certain ranges, like rustling frequencies. Others focus on rhythm because a steady footstep pattern stands out from random wind noise. In quiet conditions, hearing can reach astonishing sensitivity, down to tiny pressure differences. That sensitivity comes with a cost, because loud noise can overwhelm and even damage hearing. So many nocturnal animals choose calmer hours and calmer places when they can. Now we move from listening to hearing something more active, making sound on purpose to see with it. Echolocation is like painting the dark with brief pulses of sound. A bat sends a call, then waits for the echo to return from branches, walls, or moving prey. The delay between call and echo carries distance information. Because sound travels at a known speed in air, delay can be turned into a rough range estimate. Some bats can process differences on the scale of 1/1000th of a second. That timing lets them detect a small insect at a distance, even in total darkness. Many bats use frequency sweeps, calls that slide from higher pitch to lower pitch. A sweep helps separate echoes because different surfaces reflect different parts of the call. It also helps the bat avoid confusion in busy spaces where many echoes overlap. In an open meadow, a bat may use broader calls that travel farther. In a dense forest, it may use shorter calls that update the map more often. Call design matches habitat, like choosing a walking pace that fits the trail. Echolocation is not only about distance, it also hints at shape and texture. A smooth surface returns a clean echo, while a rough surface returns a more scattered echo. Wings of a moth can sound different from hard bark, even if both are the same distance away. Some bats learn these patterns and use them to choose prey or avoid obstacles. As a bat closes in on an insect, its call pattern often changes in a familiar way. During a capture attempt, many bats shift into a rapid series of calls called a terminal buzz. The calls come faster and faster, updating the map as the last moments unfold. It is like taking many quick snapshots, but made of sound instead of light. This rapid calling helps track prey that is turning and weaving through the air. At the same time, the bat must keep listening, which is a careful balance of loud and soft. Some bats lower the volume of their calls as they approach, so nearby echoes do not overwhelm them. Others adjust pitch to keep echoes clear while the scene changes quickly. Echolocation also has limits, because very soft objects can return weak echoes, and in heavy rain or strong wind, echoes can become less predictable. Still, for a flying hunter, echolocation is a steady guide when vision is unsure. It is also used for social spacing, helping bats avoid collisions in crowded roost exits. In caves and under bridges, a river of bats can flow out at dusk with remarkable control. Now we carry this idea into water, where light fades quickly and distance can be deceptive. Toothed whales, like dolphins and some porpoises, use echolocation in the sea. They produce clicks, brief sounds that can travel far in dark or cloudy water. A structure called the melon, a fatty organ in the forehead, helps focus those clicks into a beam. It acts like a soft lens for sound, shaping the direction without any hard parts. The returning echoes can be received through the lower jaw and inner ear pathways. In a sense, the whole head becomes part of the listening system. This allows navigation around reefs, ice edges, and moving schools of fish. It also helps hunting, because echoes can reveal a fish's size and even its orientation. In murky water, echolocation can be the difference between drifting and feeding. Whales can adjust click rate too, sending faster updates when closing in on prey. Just like bats, they often shift behavior as a target moves closer. In the ocean, sound travels farther than in air, so the map can extend into the distance. But the sea is full of noise, from waves, from rain, and from many living voices. So toothed whales also filter and focus, choosing what to attend to in that crowded soundscape. Up to now, sound has sounded like a simple advantage, but night is often a quiet arms race. If hunters listen, prey species also learn to detect the hunter's signals. Many moths have ears that are sensitive to ultrasound, the very high pitch calls used by bats. These ears are not for music. They are simple warning sensors for danger in the sky. When a moth detects bat calls, it may begin an evasive response almost instantly. Some moths perform sudden dives, dropping toward the ground in a quick spiraling path. Others turn sharply, making their flight unpredictable for a pursuing bat. The goal is not speed alone, but uncertainty, because confusion can be protective. In this way, the bat's own sensing tool becomes a cue that prey can exploit. That pressure can shape bat calls over time, pushing bats toward quieter or different strategies. Some bats use lower intensity calls, sometimes called whispering, when hunting sensitive prey. A quieter call reduces the chance that a moth hears it soon enough to react. But a quieter call also reduces range, so the bat must fly closer to search. Again, the night is full of trade-offs that feel calm but matter deeply. Now comes one of the most unusual replies in the night sky from tiger moths. Some tiger moths produce clicking sounds in response to bat approaches. These clicks can serve as warnings, suggesting the moth may taste unpleasant. In some cases, the clicks can also confuse the bat's targeting, reducing accuracy. The idea is not to win a fight, but to make a miss more likely. For a bat, a miss costs energy, and energy is precious on long nights. For a moth, one missed strike can be the difference between life and silence. Different tiger moth species may use different click patterns and timing. Some click early as a warning, while others click closer in when danger is immediate. Researchers study these interactions by measuring sound frequencies and watching flight paths in controlled spaces. Those experiments help separate what the moth hears from what the bat does from what the moth then chooses. The outcome is a dialogue of behavior written in vibration instead of words. If you are listening in bed, you can imagine that dialogue unfolding above a meadow. A bat draws its sound map, a moth detects it, and both adjust with quick, quiet decisions. Even in that tension, the overall rhythm of the night can remain soft and steady. Most of the time, many animals are simply traveling, feeding gently, and avoiding trouble. Hearing helps them keep contact too, as families and neighbors move through darkness. Some nocturnal mammals use soft calls to reunite with young, guided by familiar voices. Others rely on footsteps and rustles, recognizing patterns that belong to friend or stranger. In many places, the night soundscape is a layered blanket, insects below, frogs by water, and owls above. Each animal tunes in to a small part of the blanket, filtering the rest into calm background. And if you wake briefly, it can be soothing to let those layers pass through your attention. Before we leave this section, hold one more gentle question in mind. Would you rather sense the world by borrowed light or by borrowed echoes? Either way, the night offers a usable map made from small pieces gathered patiently. Next, we move from sound to chemistry into the quiet world of scent trails and invisible messages. And later, when we reach smell, one small insect will find a partner from astonishing distances. Now we leave light and sound and enter a quieter sense, chemistry. For many nocturnal animals, smell is not a side detail. It is the main storyline. Imagine the air itself leaving a trail, like a gentle ribbon that drifts and reshapes. Odors are made of tiny molecules that move with wind, cling to surfaces, and fade with time. To a good nose, those molecules carry direction, distance, and a hint of what happened recently. Many nocturnal mammals have proportionally large olfactory bulbs, the brain structures that process smell. A larger olfactory bulb can support finer odor discrimination, separating one scent from another in a busy world. The nose does not only detect strength, it can detect pattern, mixture, and change across moments. That is how a fox, a raccoon, or a small rodent can read a night path without seeing it clearly. The ground can hold scent like a soft memory, especially on cool nights when evaporation slows. Humidity can help odors linger, while dry wind can break a trail into scattered pieces. A skilled tracker does not expect a perfect line, it expects a plume, a shifting cloud of information. That is where a common search strategy comes in, called casting. Casting is when an animal moves in a gentle zigzag, crossing the odor plume again and again. If the scent strengthens on one side, the animal leans that way, then checks again. It looks like wandering, but it is a method, keeping the nose inside the moving ribbon of scent. In steady wind, casting can help keep an animal aligned with the upwind direction of a source. In swirling wind, casting becomes wider and slower because the plume is broken into patches. This is why a tracking dog can seem to dance across a field, always checking for the strongest thread. Many wild nocturnal animals do the same thing, quietly, with small adjustments. When conditions are calm, scent can be a long-distance signal. When conditions are chaotic, scent becomes a close-range guide, but still useful. Smell also connects closely to taste, because both are forms of chemoreception. Taste is often about deciding what to swallow, while smell is often about deciding where to go. Together, they help an animal choose safe food, avoid toxins, and find water or minerals. In darkness, these chemical clues can be more reliable than shape or color. Now we can visit a group that reads chemical trails in a particularly vivid way: snakes. Many snakes combine tongue flicking with a special sense organ called the vomeronasal organ. The tongue does not taste like ours. It collects scent particles from air and surfaces. Then the tongue delivers those particles to the vomeronasal organ in the roof of the mouth. This system is especially tuned to heavier, less airborne chemicals like skin oils and trail residues. With repeated tongue flicks, a snake can compare left and right, building a sense of direction. If one side carries slightly more chemical signal, the snake turns and checks again. This can help a snake follow prey, locate a mate, or find a familiar shelter route. Snakes can also detect freshness, because chemical trails change as molecules evaporate and break down. A newer trail often smells richer and more complete, while an older trail becomes thin and altered. So a snake is not only following, it is timing, choosing the freshest path when it can. This is a calm form of tracking, built from tiny samples gathered over and over. You can picture the tongue flick as a gentle scan, like sampling the air with a soft brush. In some species, chemoreception also helps detect predators, reading fear sense or alarm cues left behind. That matters at night, when a quick wrong turn can lead to danger. Now widen the view again, because chemical maps are not only for hunting, they are also for social life, especially when visibility is low. Pheromones are chemical signals produced by one individual that affect the behavior of another of the same species. They can signal readiness to mate, identity, territory, or a trail to follow. In a sense, pheromones turn the night into a message board written on air and bark. Many nocturnal carnivores refresh scent marks to define territory boundaries. A scent mark might be urine, gland secretions, or rubbing that leaves oils on a tree or stone. Refreshing is important because scent fades and rain, dew, and wind can erase the edges. By renewing marks, an animal keeps borders clear without needing face-to-face conflict. This can reduce risky fights, because a rival reads the message and decides to keep distance. Scent marking also allows flexible boundaries, because marks can shift with seasons and food availability. A territory may expand when food is scarce, or shrink when resources are plentiful. So the map is always being edited quietly through repeated scent deposits. Even small mammals do this, leaving scent along runways and nest entrances. For them, scent can say, "This path is familiar. This place is home." In dense nocturnal habitats, a good nose can separate dozens of individual identities. It can tell who passed by, how long ago, and sometimes what they ate recently. That level of detail is why smell often feels like a storyline, not just a sense. Now, for one of the most famous examples of chemical detection at distance, male moths seeking a mate. In many moth species, females release tiny amounts of sex pheromones into the night air. A male moth can detect extremely small concentrations of these molecules. When he catches a trace, he often turns upwind because the wind carries the scent from the source. He may fly in a pattern that alternates between straight upwind surges and wider crosswind casting. This keeps him within the plume as it bends and breaks. Field studies and experiments show that under good conditions, this guidance can work over surprisingly long distances. The key is not that the scent is strong far away, but that the male is exquisitely tuned to it. His antennae are like soft combs with many sensory hairs, increasing surface area for detection. Each tiny contact adds information, and the brain averages it into a direction choice. This is the insect version of following a lighthouse beam, except the beam is invisible chemistry. If the plume is interrupted, the moth does not give up. It begins a wider search, trying to regain the thread. The behavior looks patient, and it often is, because one successful match is worth many minutes of searching. This is also where our earlier open loop fits, because that distance finding ability can be astonishing in calm night air. If you are imagining the scene, think of a female perched quietly, scent drifting downwind like a faint perfume. And far away, a male moth becomes alert, then begins moving in the direction the air suggests. Now shift from romance to dinner, because smell also guides foraging in darkness. Fruit bats and many nocturnal foragers often identify ripe food by odor before seeing it clearly. A ripe fruit releases a mix of aromatic compounds that change as sugars rise and tissues soften. Some plants even produce scent profiles that match the preferences of their main dispersers. A fruit bat flying through a canopy may smell ripe fruit and then circle closer to confirm. In the final meters, scent and memory work together, guiding the landing even when leaves block the view. Some nocturnal mammals do the same thing on the ground, finding fungi, roots, or insects by smell. A bear is famous for scent, but even small creatures like shrews and hedgehogs use smell to choose food patches. In darkness, odor becomes a practical shortcut, narrowing the search area before any bite is taken. Taste then verifies, helping avoid bitter toxins and identify nutrient-rich foods. In many animals, taste receptors are tuned to detect bitterness as a warning and sweetness as energy. But there are exceptions, because diets differ and what is safe for one species can be harmful to another. That is why taste and smell are personal maps, shaped by each animal's ecology. Now we can watch chemistry guide an entirely different relationship: pollination after dark. Many night-blooming plants intensify scent release at dusk. They do this because their pollinators are active at night and scent travels well in cool air. White or pale flowers may still help a little, but perfume is often the main advertisement. A hawk moth may not see a flower from far away, but it can detect a scent plume and follow it in. As it approaches, the moth can use a scent gradient, comparing slightly stronger odor on one side. That gradient can guide close range positioning, like a gentle scent slope leading to the center. Nectar-feeding bats can also use floral scent to locate and choose flowers. Some bat-pollinated flowers have strong, musky odors and sturdy shapes that fit a bat's face. As the bat hovers or lands, scent and touch confirm the target even when the night is fully dark. In this way, plants and animals share a chemical conversation, timed to the hours when many predators sleep. The plant offers nectar, the animal carries pollen, and scent keeps the meeting reliable. Some flowers even change scent intensity through the night, peaking when their best visitors are most active. On cooler nights, scent can linger longer, creating stable trails from flower to flower. On warmer nights, the plume may rise faster and dissipate, requiring closer approach. So the nightly environment shapes pollination the same way it shapes hunting and tracking. If you listen closely, you can imagine a whole night garden guided by perfume rather than color. The air becomes a gentle corridor, pointing toward nectar sources like invisible lanterns. Now we can connect chemical maps back to survival, because smell also warns of danger. Many prey animals can detect predator scent and adjust behavior, avoiding certain paths or feeding sites. They may feed more quickly or choose more covered routes if they smell recent risk. Predators can also detect each other and avoid direct overlap, reducing conflict. In this way, scent can organize the night into zones of comfort and caution. Later, we will connect scent to city nights and garbage-fed urban foraging, where odors are everywhere. But even in wild places, scent does not guarantee truth, because wind can mislead. An odor plume can curl around a rock and create a false hotspot downwind. A trail can be crossed by another trail, mixing signals into confusion. That is why many animals constantly resample, checking again and again for consistency. They do not commit to one reading. They update like a calm navigation system. When they lose the plume, they cast wider, and when they find it again, they narrow in. This repeated checking is the rhythm of chemical tracking, patient and steady. If you picture the air itself leaving a trail, you are picturing the right thing. The trail is not fixed. It is living, moving, fading, and being rewritten each second. And still, for an animal with the right senses, it is readable enough to guide a life. So in darkness, smell becomes a map, pheromones become messages, and food becomes a scent signature. We have borrowed light, borrowed echoes, and now borrowed chemistry from the air itself. Next, we move to touch, the way whiskers, hairs, and water-sensing organs let animals feel the shape of the dark. Now we move into the closest range sense of all, touch. Touch is not only contact, it is also the near-contact world of air and vibration. In darkness, touch can become a quiet substitute for sight, especially within a body length. Many animals carry special sensors that let them feel the shape of the dark before they bump into it. One of the most familiar tools is the whisker, also called a vibrissa. A whisker is thicker and stiffer than ordinary hair, and it is anchored in a follicle packed with nerves. That nerve-rich base makes each whisker a sensitive lever, reporting tiny bends and pressures. When a whisker brushes a surface, it does not just say touch, it says where, how far, and how hard. Many mammals use whiskers to detect nearby surfaces before contact, simply by sensing airflow changes. As an animal moves, air flows around objects, creating subtle shifts in pressure and direction. A whisker can feel those shifts, warning of a wall, a branch, or the edge of a burrow opening. This is especially helpful in tight spaces where turning around is difficult. A mouse moving through grass can keep whiskers forward, like gentle feelers, reading gaps and stems. A cat can approach a dark doorway and sense whether its head and shoulders will fit. A seal in murky water can use whiskers to detect changes in flow and objects close by. Whiskers also help with prey capture, because the final moment often happens too close for good vision. A predator can feel the exact position of prey with whiskers, adjusting the bite with precision. Some whiskers are arranged in rows that create a kind of grid across the face. That grid turns touch into a spatial pattern the brain can learn. The brain maps each whisker's input, building a stable touch representation over time. In rodents, whisker use is not passive, it is active and rhythmic. Rats and some other rodents whisk, moving their whiskers back and forth in a regular pattern. This whisking is like scanning with a flashlight, except the beam is touch instead of light. The timing of each whisker sweep matters, because it tells the brain when contact happened in the cycle. A touch early in the sweep means a surface is close in front. A touch later in the sweep suggests a surface is farther to the side. With repeated sweeps, the animal builds a detailed map of openings, edges, and textures. This is one reason rats can move quickly in cluttered places without crashing into everything. They are not guessing. They are sampling the world in time. If you imagine a rat pausing at a corner, you can picture whiskers sweeping like slow metronomes. Each sweep adds a new line to the map, and the map becomes reliable enough for confident movement. Whisker-based mapping can also help recognize objects, because textures produce different vibration patterns. A smooth surface bends the whisker in a steady way, while a rough surface creates fine flutter. The brain can learn these patterns, turning vibration into recognition. Even in humans, fingertips do something similar, reading texture through microvibrations. Now we can shift from faces to wings, because touch sensors are not limited to whiskers. Some bats have touch receptors on their wing membranes that sense airflow changes during agile turns. Bat wings are living skins stretched over elongated fingers with many nerves and blood vessels. This makes the wing a sensing surface, not only a flying surface. As a bat banks and turns, air pressure shifts across different parts of the wing. Sensitive receptors can detect that shift, helping the bat adjust angle and tension. This is like having a built-in feedback system that keeps flight stable in tight spaces. In a forest where branches are close and echoes can be complex, that touch feedback is valuable. It can help a bat make smoother turns while staying quiet and controlled. A bat may feel the air itself, almost like reading a gentle river current. This close range sensing pairs well with echolocation, filling in gaps at the last moment. Echolocation tells the bat where obstacles are, and wing touch helps it glide past them cleanly. In many animals, touch works best when it is combined with another sense, each covering the other's limits. Now we move from air to solid ground, where vibration can tell stories over distance. On land, vibrations can travel through soil, sand, wood, and webs. Some animals become specialists at reading these signals, turning tiny tremors into clear meaning. Spiders are a beautiful example, because a web is both trap and instrument. A spider can identify prey size and struggle pattern by reading web vibration signatures. Each movement on the web produces a distinct rhythm and intensity. A small insect may produce quick, light pulses. A larger insect may produce slower, stronger shakes, with a different pattern of stops and starts. Even wind produces its own background vibration, and spiders learn to separate that noise from prey signals. They do not need to see the insect to decide whether to approach, wait, or retreat. Some spiders can also tell whether the vibrations come from the center or the edge of the web. That direction comes from timing differences across the web strands. A web is like a distributed sensor network made of silk. Silk transmits vibration efficiently, which is why it works so well as a signaling medium. For the spider, the web is an extension of the nervous system into space. If the spider senses a certain signature, it may move calmly toward the source. If the signature suggests danger, it may freeze, drop, or prepare a different response. In darkness, these decisions can be made with almost no visual input at all. Scorpions provide another striking vibration story, especially on desert nights. Scorpions sense minute sand vibrations with sensory hairs on their legs and body. These tiny hairs can detect surface waves traveling through the ground. A walking insect creates a pattern of vibrations that spreads outward like ripples. By comparing when vibrations arrive at different legs, a scorpion can orient toward the source. It can also estimate distance from the strength and timing of the waves. This is useful when the desert is dark and the prey is small. A scorpion may pause, legs slightly spread, letting the sand speak. Then it turns and approaches with slow precision, guided by vibration rather than sight. The desert surface is a good transmitter for some frequencies, so the signal can be clear on still nights. Loose sand can dampen some vibration, but it can also carry distinct surface waves that sensors detect. Researchers study these thresholds by measuring vibration amplitude and testing scorpion orientation responses. This helps separate myth from mechanism, showing what the scorpion truly detects. Vibration sensing is not only for hunters, it is also for navigation in clutter. Many nocturnal insects rely on antennae and fine body hairs to avoid obstacles. Antennae are flexible feelers that can tap and sweep ahead, much like whiskers but longer and jointed. They can detect a leaf edge, a narrow opening, or the surface of a branch before the body arrives. Fine hairs on legs and bodies can sense air movement, warning of nearby objects or approaching threats. A cricket moving through grass may feel stems brush its antennae and choose a new path. A beetle climbing bark may sense the texture and angle and keep steady footing. These touch sensors allow insects to travel at night without needing sharp vision. In many cases, insects can also use vibration from plants, sensing movement from wind or a predator's step. A plant can become a vibration highway, carrying information along stems and leaves. Some insects freeze when they detect certain vibration patterns, reducing detection by predators. Others move to the opposite side of a stem, using the plant as a shield. So touch and vibration can be both guidance and defense. Now we can enter water, where touch expands into pressure waves and fluid trails. In water, vision often fades quickly, even in daylight, and at night it can be nearly absent. Many fish use a sensory system called the lateral line to sense pressure changes. The lateral line is a series of small organs along the body that detect water movement. It allows a fish to feel nearby motion, like the wake of another fish or the swirl of a predator. This helps schooling fish stay aligned, even in murky water or complete darkness. It also helps hunters detect prey, because a swimming animal leaves a pressure signature behind it. A fish can sense the direction of a disturbance and orient toward it without needing to see. In a school, each fish reads the flow from its neighbors and adjusts with tiny fin movements. That creates the smooth, coordinated turns that look like a single moving body. At night, the lateral line can keep that coordination stable when eyes cannot do the job. In addition to the lateral line, some aquatic animals use whisker-like sensors in water. Seals are famous for this because their whiskers can detect very fine hydrodynamic trails. A swimming fish leaves a wake, a pattern of water movement that can persist briefly after it passes. Some seals can follow these trails even after the fish is no longer present. The whiskers pick up subtle flow differences, and the seal's brain interprets them as direction and speed. It is like reading the memory of water, a trail written in moving currents. This ability can help in dark water where the seal cannot rely on sight. It can also help under ice or in cloudy seas where visibility is low. Researchers test this by creating controlled wakes and observing how seals track them. The results suggest seals can detect wakes that are faint and fading, yet still informative. Again, it is not magic, it is sensitivity and practiced interpretation. Across land and water, touch-based sensing tends to be short-range but very dependable. It does not require light, and it works in clutter where echoes and scents may be confusing. It also encourages slower, smoother movement, which often reduces noise and risk. A whisker touch can prevent a hard bump, a wing sensor can smooth a turn, and a lateral line can prevent a collision. If you are listening quietly, you can picture these senses like a soft boundary around the body, a boundary that feels the world gently and keeps the animal oriented even when the scene is dark. Now we can begin a slow recap to keep the long session easy to follow. We have borrowed light with sensitive eyes, borrowed echoes with careful hearing, and borrowed chemistry with smell. And now we have felt the dark with whiskers, hairs, webs, sand, and water. In the next section, we will lift our attention upward and use the sky itself as a navigation tool. Quick soft reset. Let your shoulders sink and let the night keep moving at a calm pace. Soft reset here, just a small check-in while the night stays calm. If you are listening in bed, let the volume sit at a comfortable low level. Give your shoulders a moment to drop and let your jaw relax a little. So far, we have used 3 quiet tools of darkness: borrowed light, borrowed echoes, and chemical maps. Then we moved into touch with whiskers, hairs, webs, sand vibrations, and water trails. You do not need to remember every detail. You can simply let the facts drift by. If you would like to make this part of your sleep routine, you can save this video for later. And if you want, leave a single comment with your favorite night animal. One word is perfect. Something like owl, bat, moth, fox, gecko, or seal. No stories needed. Just a calm little note you can type and forget. Alright, next we move into navigation using stars, moonlight, and invisible magnetic lines. Now we lift our attention upward because the sky itself can be a guide. Have you ever used stars to find direction, even just for a moment? For many animals, navigation at night is not a guess, it is a practiced skill. The world looks darker, but it is not blank. There are patterns in the sky, gradients on the horizon, and invisible fields around the planet. Different species combine these cues like layers, using one when another fades. Some animals literally read the night sky. Migratory birds are one of the best studied examples of celestial guidance. When the sun is gone, many migrants can orient using star patterns. Experiments have shown that birds can learn the rotation center of the night sky and use it as a directional reference. They do not need to identify every constellation like a person might. Instead, they use the overall pattern and the way it turns through the night. Young birds can calibrate their sense of direction by watching the sky rotate. Once calibrated, they can hold a steady heading during long flights. Cloud cover can interfere, which is why birds also rely on backup cues. But on clear nights, starlight can be enough for a working compass. The compass does not tell them a street address, it tells them a direction to maintain. That alone is powerful when a journey spans continents. Birds also use landmarks when they are close to the ground. Rivers, coastlines, and mountain ridges can become guiding edges even in dim light. In the final stages of migration, memory and local cues take a stronger role. Still, the first calm steering often begins with the sky. Now we can look at a smaller traveler that uses the sky in an even more surprising way. Some dung beetles use the Milky Way as a compass. After finding a piece of food, they roll it away in a straight line to escape competition. Going straight matters because wandering in circles wastes time and invites theft. On dark nights, some species can keep direction by using the band of the Milky Way as a reference. They do not need to see each star sharply. They need only the broad brightness pattern in the sky and its stable position over short periods. This is a quiet example of how even insects can use celestial cues. It also shows that navigation is not only about long-distance travel. It can be about short, efficient trips that protect a meal. Now we move from stars to moonlight, because moonlight carries hidden structure. Moonlight can become polarized, meaning the light waves align in specific directions. Many insects can detect polarized light patterns. During the day, polarized sunlight patterns help some insects orient. At night, several nocturnal insects can also orient using polarized moonlight patterns, even when the moon is faint. This works best when the sky is clear and not overwhelmed by other light sources. The insect reads the pattern like a compass face spread across the sky. It does not need a bright moon, only a consistent polarization signal. This can help a moth, beetle, or other night flyer keep a steady course. If the pattern is disturbed by clouds, the insect may switch to other cues. That switching is a theme of night navigation, because no single signal is always available. Now we can add the moon itself, not only its polarization, but its position and the light it casts. Moonlight creates a soft gradient, brighter toward the moon and darker away from it. Some animals can use that gradient to keep a general heading, but gradients can mislead when the moon moves. So many species combine moon cues with time sense. If the body clock knows the hour, the animal can correct for the moon's changing position. This is similar to how some day-active animals use the sun compass with an internal clock. The night version is quieter, but the principle is the same. Now we shift from celestial cues to an even more subtle layer: magnetism. Earth has a magnetic field, with lines that curve from one hemisphere to the other. Many migratory animals can sense aspects of this field. They can use it like a compass, and in some cases like a rough map of location. Researchers describe magnetic cues in terms of direction and sometimes intensity or inclination. The precise biological mechanisms are still being studied, but there are leading ideas. One idea involves light-sensitive proteins called cryptochromes. These proteins may allow certain cells to respond differently depending on magnetic field direction. This could provide a magnetic sense that is linked to vision circuits and brain processing. Another idea involves tiny magnetic particles in tissues that may influence sensory neurons. Across studies, the key message is that magnetism provides a reliable backup when the sky is hidden. It also works in forests and valleys where stars may be blocked. But magnet sensing can be disrupted by strong artificial electromagnetic noise in some contexts. That is part of why multiple cues are useful, because redundancy protects navigation. Now we bring this down to the scale of coastlines and beaches. Sea turtle hatchlings have a simple and urgent navigation task: find the ocean. On natural dark beaches, the ocean horizon is often the brightest direction. Open water reflects starlight and moonlight, and the land behind dunes is darker. Hatchlings use that natural horizon glow to crawl toward the sea. When beaches are undeveloped and dark, this usually works well. But artificial lighting can reverse the gradient, making streets or buildings brighter than the water. In those conditions, hatchlings may crawl the wrong way, toward danger and dehydration. This is one reason coastal lighting rules and shielding can matter for conservation. Even a small change in where light points can change a hatchling's first journey. Later, we will return to city lights and see how they can scramble navigation cues for many animals. For now, keep the gentle image of a dark beach where the sea is the soft, bright line. Navigation can be as simple as moving toward the right glow. Now we move from hatchlings on sand to flyers in the air, bats. Bats are often discussed for echolocation, but navigation is broader than that. Many bats combine echolocation with landmark memory, forming route-like maps between roosts and feeding spots. A bat leaving its roost may follow a familiar corridor, like a hedgerow, a river, or a line of trees. These features create stable edges in the landscape, even at night. Echolocation helps with the immediate space, avoiding branches and wires. Memory helps with the larger route, choosing the correct turns and distances. Over time, a bat can learn where food is reliable and how to get there efficiently. Some bats also show strong homing ability, returning to roosts after being moved away. They likely use a mix of cues, including landmarks, soundscape, and possibly magnetic information. In a familiar area, they can travel with smooth confidence, like taking a well-known road. This combination of short-range sensing and long-range memory is common in nocturnal navigation. Now we can zoom in again to small insects with a special set of eyes. Some nocturnal bees and wasps have enlarged simple eyes called ocelli. Ocelli are not like the main compound eyes, they're simpler light sensors. They can detect overall brightness and help stabilize flight. In low light, enlarged ocelli can provide a steady reference for horizon and body orientation. This can help a night-flying insect keep level and avoid tumbling in turbulence. It can also support timing because changes in ambient light tell the insect about dusk and dawn. Some nocturnal bees use low light vision to visit flowers in early morning or late evening. Their ocelli and other visual adaptations help them fly when light is scarce. But even with these visual aids, many still rely on scent and landmark memory for fine-scale navigation. In the night, navigation is rarely a single sense. It is a bundle. Now we bring in another group that travels at night for a very specific reason: amphibians. Many amphibians return to breeding ponds after dark, often with remarkable consistency. They use a mix of cues, including scent, humidity gradients, and soundscape signals. Humidity rises near water, and the air can feel cooler and wetter in subtle ways. A frog or salamander can detect these gradients and use them as a gentle pointer. Scent cues from pond plants and mud can also guide them closer. And as they near the pond, the soundscape becomes a beacon with calls that mark location. The calls do not only communicate to mates, they also help orient travelers to the right place. In some species, individuals show strong sight fidelity, returning to the same pond year after year. That implies a combination of memory and sensory gradients that stays reliable across seasons. Night travel may reduce dehydration and predation risk for amphibians. It also matches the timing of their activity, because their skin prefers cool, moist conditions, so the night becomes both pathway and protection. Across birds, beetles, turtles, bats, bees, and amphibians, the pattern is the same. Use the sky when it is clear, use the land when it is familiar, and use hidden signals when the sky disappears. Stars provide a stable pattern, moonlight provides gradients and polarization, and magnetism provides a constant background compass. Landmarks add detail, and internal clocks tie everything to time. If one cue is missing, another can fill the gap. This is why navigation can stay calm and dependable, even in complex nights. And it is why artificial light can be so disruptive, because it changes the cues animals expect. Later, we will see how city lights can scramble star patterns, moon gradients, and horizon glow. For now, let the idea be simple and steady. The night is not empty. It is full of soft signals that animals have learned to read. Next, we explore what makes timing possible at all: the body clocks that decide when to move. Now we move from maps in space to maps in time. A night animal does not only need to know where to go, it also needs to know when to wake, when to feed, and when to stay still. That timing comes from internal clocks that run quietly inside the body. Notice how predictable your own routine feels at night, even without thinking about it. Many animals have that same predictability, guided by biology as much as by choice. Most vertebrates coordinate daily rhythms through a brain clock that synchronizes with light and dark cycles. This central clock sits in the brain and acts like a conductor for the rest of the body. It keeps time even when conditions are steady, but it also resets using cues from the outside world. Light is the strongest cue for many species because it is reliable and repeats every day. Special light-sensitive cells in the eyes can send information about brightness to the brain clock. These cells are tuned more to overall light level than to forming images. So the body can know day or night even if the animal is not paying attention to detail. Once the brain clock has a clear signal, it can coordinate daily rhythms in behavior and physiology. That includes sleep and wake timing, hunger signals, and changes in hormone release. But the body does not rely on a single clock alone. Many species also run peripheral clocks in organs, aligning digestion and metabolism with activity time. A liver clock can adjust how nutrients are processed across the day. A gut clock can adjust digestive enzyme release to match feeding habits. Muscles can shift energy use depending on whether the animal is active or resting. These peripheral clocks are like local schedules that follow the main rhythm but handle their own details. They can be influenced by feeding time, temperature, and activity, not only by light. This is helpful because not every day is the same. If an animal finds food later than usual, the body can adapt without breaking the entire daily cycle. In nocturnal animals, the timing is often phase shifted. That means peak alertness and activity happen during darkness instead of daylight. The same basic clock architecture exists, but the behavioral output is shifted by hours. A nocturnal mouse and a diurnal squirrel both have daily rhythms, but their peaks happen at different times. The shift can be supported by differences in light sensitivity and by how the brain interprets the clock signal. For a nocturnal animal, light may signal caution rather than opportunity. Darkness may signal safe movement, cooler temperatures, and reduced risk from some predators. So the brain clock does more than keep time. It sets the meaning of time. Now we can move from clocks to chemistry, because hormones are one way the clock sends messages. Melatonin commonly rises in darkness and helps signal night mode to tissues across the body. Melatonin is produced in response to darkness cues, and it circulates as a timing signal. It can influence sleepiness, body temperature regulation, and other nightly adjustments. In many animals, melatonin helps coordinate when tissue should be in rest mode versus active mode. Even in nocturnal species, melatonin still acts as a darkness signal, but the downstream effects can differ because the animal's whole system is tuned to be active at night. So melatonin is not simply a sleep hormone. It is a time hormone marking the dark interval so the body can schedule the right processes. This scheduling can include repair, immune activity changes, and shifts in metabolism. In the wild, darkness is not only a visual condition, it is a physiological context. That context can affect how quickly an animal reacts, how it uses energy, and how it balances risk. Light at night can interfere with that messaging because it can reduce or alter melatonin signals. This is one reason artificial light can affect wildlife behavior and health. Later, we will connect this to city nights, where light can keep bodies in a confused twilight state. For now, we stay with natural cues because timing is often reinforced by more than light. Many animals use nightly temperature drops as an additional timing cue when light is unreliable. On clear nights, temperature often falls steadily after sunset. That cooling can signal that the active window is beginning. In deserts, the temperature drop can be dramatic, and many animals time emergence to that moment. In forests, cooling can also reduce insect activity or shift where prey is found, shaping hunting schedules. The body can sense temperature through skin and internal sensors and adjust hormone release and activity. Humidity can also shift at night, and some animals use that as a cue, especially amphibians. When light cues are weak, like under dense canopy or in burrows, temperature and humidity can become more important. These cues are local but reliable, and they repeat enough to anchor a routine. Another powerful time cue operates across seasons, not just within a day. Seasonal day length changes can shift reproduction timing, migration readiness, and fur or feather molt cycles. As days grow longer or shorter, animals detect the change in light exposure over weeks. This information can influence hormones that control breeding and body changes. Many birds time reproduction so young hatch when food is abundant. Many mammals time fur changes for insulation, shifting coat density with the season. Some species adjust fat storage and appetite as winter approaches. Migration is often tied to this seasonal clock as well, preparing muscles and behavior for long journeys. These seasonal programs are slow and steady, built on day length as a reliable calendar. Even nocturnal animals respond to day length because their night window expands or shrinks across the year. In summer, darkness may be short, so activity must be efficient. In winter, darkness can be long, offering more time but also colder conditions and different risks. So the clock is not only daily, it is annual, a layered system of timing. Now we can add a final layer that sits between day and season, the moon. The moon can act like a dim second sun. Moonlight is not equal across the month. It grows brighter toward full moon and darker toward new moon. Some nocturnal species adjust activity with moon brightness. On brighter nights, some animals feed more because they can see better. A predator that relies on vision may hunt more effectively when the ground is softly lit. Some insectivores may catch prey more easily in moonlight. Some birds that forage at night may extend activity when the moon is bright. Even some nocturnal insects may use moonlight for steadier orientation while flying. But moonlight is also exposure, and that creates a different response in other species. Other species reduce movement on bright nights to avoid being seen. A small rodent may stay close to cover when the moon is bright. A rabbit may feed less in open areas during a full moon. A prey animal might delay travel until clouds pass, or shift routes into denser vegetation. This pattern is sometimes called lunar phobia, meaning avoidance of bright moon conditions. It is not fear as a feeling. It is a strategy shaped by predation risk. A bright night can make silhouettes clearer and movement easier to detect, so the safest time may be the darkest time, especially for small prey. This creates predictable lunar rhythms in many ecosystems. Predators and prey can both change schedules, and their changes can interact. If prey hides on bright nights, predators may switch to different prey or hunt in different habitats. Some predators may take advantage of moonlight, while others prefer darkness and rely on hearing or smell. In camera trap studies, activity patterns often show these shifts across the lunar cycle. The same species may behave differently in different habitats, depending on cover and predator density. This is why moon effects are not one size fits all. The moon is a cue, but the response depends on the animal's risks and tools. It is also shaped by clouds, because clouds can erase moonlight in minutes. So an animal may hold a flexible plan, ready to adjust when the sky changes. Now we can tie the whole section together in a calm way. A brain clock sets the daily rhythm, peripheral clocks align organs, and hormones carry the timing message. Temperature drops and other night signals add extra confirmation. Seasonal day length writes the long calendar, and the moon adds a monthly pulse of brightness. When you combine these layers, you get a predictable schedule that fits the animal's life. You also get an explanation for why nights feel different from each other, even in the same place. Some nights are dark and soft, some are bright and exposed, some are windy and confusing. Animals respond with routines, but also with quiet flexibility. And when their timing is stable, their senses work better, because the body expects the night shift. Now we use all of this vision, sound, smell, touch, and timing to understand how hunters operate after dark. And in the next section, we will cash out the owl silence promised from the beginning in a calm, practical way. Now we bring the senses together and watch how hunting actually happens after dark. Night hunters do not only chase, they prepare, they listen, and they wait. Which sense would you trust most to find food at night? Some predators are built to hunt without being heard. This is where we pay off the promise from the beginning, the quiet details of owl flight. Many owls have feather edges that soften airflow, supporting unusually quiet flight during strikes. Along the leading edge of an owl's wing, tiny comb-like fringes can reduce turbulence noise. Along the trailing edge, soft fringes and velvety surfaces can dampen sound as air moves past. Together, these structures reduce the sharp hiss that most wings would create in a fast pass. The result is a flight that can feel like a soft glide, even at the moment of attack. Quiet flight matters because many prey animals listen for danger. If the air is loud, a mouse can freeze or dart away before the talons arrive. So the owl's feathers do not just help it fly, they help it stay hidden in sound. Owls also combine quiet flight with very precise hearing. Some owls can pinpoint prey under cover by sound cues alone. Even when a mouse is under leaf litter or thin snow, its movement can create a faint rustle pattern. An owl can use timing differences between ears to locate that sound in 3 dimensions. A small head tilt can refine the direction, like adjusting a compass needle. Then the owl strikes with a path chosen by sound, not by sight. This is especially useful when the prey is not visible at all. In experiments and careful field observations, owls have shown striking accuracy using sound location. Their facial discs help gather sound, and their ear asymmetry helps with vertical direction. So the owl is not guessing, it is building a sound-based target point. And because its wings are quiet, the prey often has less warning. You can picture it as 2 quiet advantages layered together: sensitive hearing and soft flight. Now we can step from air to ground and visit another quiet hunter, the feline. Many feline hunters rely on stealth locomotion and sensitive paw pads to reduce noise while stalking. Cats often place their feet with care, choosing surfaces that do not crackle or shift. Their paw pads can also help soften contact, reducing sharp impact sound. Flexible shoulders and a low center of gravity allow smooth, controlled steps. A stalking cat often pauses frequently, matching movement to the prey's attention. If the prey looks up, the cat freezes. If the prey turns away, the cat advances a little more. This stop and go approach reduces detection because it avoids steady, obvious motion. It also limits sound because each step is chosen, not rushed. Some cats use cover, moving behind grass, rocks, or shadows to break line of sight. Others use wind, approaching from downwind to reduce scent detection. Night hunting is rarely only one sense. It is a full body plan. Quiet is part of that plan, but patience is equally important. A night hunter often spends more time waiting than moving. Waiting is energy saving, and it reduces mistakes. In darkness, a mistake can mean injury, and injury can mean starvation. So many predators choose calm strategies that lower risk. They also use routes and habits that they have learned over many nights. A familiar path can be quieter and safer than an unknown shortcut. Now we return to hunters of the air, bats, where hunting becomes a rapid feedback loop. Insect-eating bats often show a rapid call rate increase right before capture. This is that terminal buzz we mentioned earlier, but now we see it in the hunting context. As a bat closes in, echoes come back faster, and the bat increases call speed to match. The bat is updating its sound map many times per second. Each call and echo pair is a new measurement of distance and direction. The prey is moving too, sometimes turning sharply to escape. So the bat's calls become a high-speed conversation with the air. The bat does not need to see the insect clearly. It needs to track it as a moving target in echo space. Different hunting situations call for different call designs. Some bats shift call frequency and timing depending on open air, clutter, or prey type. In open air, a bat may use longer range calls, giving early detection. In clutter, like a forest edge, the bat may use shorter calls to avoid confusing echoes from leaves. It may also change frequency to help separate prey echoes from background echoes. Some bats pursue insects that flutter in open space. Others hunt near vegetation, where prey may be perched on leaves. Those two contexts require different sensing strategies. This leads us to a quieter style of bat hunting, gleaning. Gleaning bats may lower call volume and also listen for insect footsteps on leaves. A crawling beetle or cricket can produce tiny movement sounds. In a still night, those sounds can be detectable to a bat with good hearing. By calling softly, the bat reduces the chance of alerting ultrasound-sensitive moths, and by listening, it adds another channel of information that does not create its own signal. This is a stealth approach using sound reception more than sound emission. The bat may hover briefly, then drop to snatch an insect from a surface. Because the call volume is lower, the bat must be closer to avoid losing its map. But being close also means the final attack is quick. Researchers study these patterns with microphones and high-speed cameras, matching call changes to flight maneuvers. The data show that bats are not using a fixed call, they adjust continuously. That adjustment is one reason bats can hunt so efficiently in varied habitats. It is also why some prey have evolved defenses tuned to bat ultrasound. Night hunting pushes both sides to refine their tools. Now we can move from sound-based hunters to hunters that use heat and vibration. Heat can become a substitute for light, especially on cool nights. Pit vipers and some other snakes detect warm-bodied prey with infrared-sensitive organs. These organs are often called pit organs, and they sit between the eye and the nostril in many pit vipers. They detect infrared radiation as a tiny warming pattern on sensitive tissue. In simple terms, they allow the snake to sense heat contrast. A warm mouse against a cool rock creates a detectable difference. On a warm day, the contrast may be smaller, but on a cool night, it can be strong. This helps a snake strike accurately even when vision is limited. The snake may still use smell and tongue flicking to locate a general area. But heat sensing can provide a final target lock, a clear warm spot to aim for. Researchers test these abilities by observing strike accuracy under different temperature conditions. The results suggest that infrared sensing can guide both detection and precise aiming. It is another example of layered senses: smell for tracking, heat for final placement. Pit vipers often hunt by ambush, waiting in a spot where prey regularly passes. Ambush reduces movement and reduces detection. It also saves energy, which is useful for animals that may not eat every night. Now we can revisit spiders where hunting can be built into architecture. Some nocturnal spiders build or repair webs at dusk. They may choose web locations that intercept insect flight paths, like gaps between branches. Once the web is set, the spider can wait, reading vibration patterns through the silk. A trapped insect produces a distinctive struggle signature. A small insect may not be worth rushing for if the risk is high. A large insect may be worth immediate action, but it may also be dangerous. So the spider listens with its legs, deciding whether to rush, wait, or retreat. In some species, the spider approaches cautiously, then wraps the prey in silk before biting. Wrapping reduces risk by limiting movement. In other species, the spider may bite quickly if venom is enough to subdue the prey safely. The web itself can also be tuned. Thickness and tension affect how vibration transmits and how the web handles impacts. So a spider is both an engineer and a hunter, building a sensing surface each evening. In darkness, this is a reliable strategy because it does not depend on light at all. It depends on vibration, which works whenever the web is intact. Now we can step back and see what all these hunters share. They tend to minimize noise, minimize wasted movement, and maximize information. Owls quiet the air. Cats quiet the ground. Bats shape sound in midair. Snakes read heat, and spiders read vibration. Each predator uses a mechanism, gains a benefit, and accepts a trade-off. Quiet flight reduces sound but may require specialized feathers that also affect aerodynamics. Stealth stalking requires patience, which can reduce hunting opportunities but increase success per attempt. Echolocation requires energy and can alert some prey, but it provides a strong map in darkness. Heat sensing works best when contrast is high, so it is more useful on cooler nights and shaded places. Web hunting relies on placement and construction, and storms can destroy the entire setup. Yet in the calm of a typical night, these strategies are remarkably stable. They are predictable, and that predictability is soothing to observe. If you listen quietly, you can imagine a night landscape where hunters move like slow currents. Most of the time, they do not sprint or explode into action. They wait, they tune in, and they act only when the odds are good. This is why night predation can look gentle, even though it is serious. And it is why prey animals have their own equally careful strategies to survive. But hunting is only half the story. Next, we shift our attention to the other side of the night, how prey stays alive in the same darkness. Now we shift to the other side of the night story, survival. The same darkness that helps hunters also creates problems for prey. Darkness changes the rules of visibility and risk. It can hide you, but it can also hide what is hunting you. So many animals manage risk by choosing when to move, where to move, and how to look. Here is a gentle choose your path question to hold in mind. If you were a mouse, would you hide on bright nights or keep moving to find food? For many small mammals, bright moonlight increases exposure. Many small mammals reduce movement on bright moonlit nights because predators can see them more easily. A full moon can make open ground look like a pale stage. Edges become sharper, shadows become thinner, and movement stands out. That does not mean a small mammal never moves on bright nights. It means the cost of movement is higher, so choices become more careful. Some species shift activity toward the darkest hours, or toward nights with cloud cover. Others increase time spent under cover, feeding close to shrubs and rocks. This is why ecologists sometimes find strong links between moon brightness and activity patterns. The animal is not reading a calendar. It is responding to brightness and risk. Even a small change in light can shift behavior. Moonlight risk also depends on habitat. In dense vegetation, a bright moon may not penetrate deeply, so the exposure increase is smaller. In open desert or short grass, moonlight can travel far, raising visibility for predators. So the same moon phase can feel safe in one place and risky in another. In many ecosystems, prey animals learn local rules based on what hunts there. Now we move from timing to pathways, because where you walk matters as much as when. Some nocturnal animals hug cover and travel along edges, using shadows like protective lanes. An edge might be the line where grass meets brush or where a wall meets an alley. Moving along edges reduces silhouette exposure and offers quick escape routes. If danger appears, one step can put the animal into cover. Edges can also carry familiar scents, making navigation easier while staying hidden. This is one reason you may see small animals following fence lines or hedges at night. It looks like a habit, but it is a strategy, using structure as protection. Even predators sometimes use edges, but for a different purpose, to approach unseen. So edges become shared spaces of caution, where both sides move quietly. On very bright nights, edges may be the only places that feel safe enough to travel. In some species, this leads to predictable edge corridors like invisible roads through the dark. This is also where earlier navigation ideas return, because landmarks and edges can guide movement without open exposure. Now we add another survival method that is less about where and more about who you move with. Group timing can matter because moving together can dilute individual risk. When many individuals move at once, a predator can only catch one at a time. This is called dilution, because each individual becomes a smaller fraction of the available targets. Some animals also gain extra eyes and ears, because a group detects danger sooner. If one animal freezes, others may notice and copy, reducing movement that attracts attention. Group movement can also confuse predators, making it harder to focus on a single target. Not every nocturnal animal travels in groups, but when they do, timing and spacing can matter. A herd might choose a certain hour to cross a clearing. A colony might emerge together, creating a flood of movement that overwhelms predator attention. Even small animals can coordinate loosely, responding to the same cues and moving in waves. The night becomes a schedule, not only for hunters, but for those trying to avoid them. Now we move to defenses that do not depend on darkness alone. Defenses can be visual, chemical, or behavioral. Some defenses work at a distance, while others work only when a predator is close. One common tactic is to surprise a predator at the last possible moment. Some moths reveal sudden eye spot patterns or contrasting wings to startle predators at close range. When at rest, the moth may look like a plain leaf or bark patch, but if disturbed, it can flash wings with bold marks that resemble large eyes. The goal is not to convince the predator of a real animal. The goal is a brief pause, a moment of hesitation that creates an opening to escape. That hesitation can be enough, because many predators rely on timing. If the prey breaks the rhythm, the predator may miss. Some moths combine this flash with erratic flight, increasing confusion. Others drop into leaf litter and become still, returning to camouflage immediately. This startle strategy works best when the predator is already close, because surprise depends on proximity. It is a small drama, but it ends quickly, and the night returns to calm. Other defenses are chemical and do not rely on what the predator can see. Many amphibians and insects rely on chemical defenses that work regardless of lighting conditions. A toad's skin may contain compounds that taste unpleasant or irritate a predator's mouth. Some insects store plant toxins in their bodies, making them less desirable to eat. Some caterpillars and beetles produce defensive fluids when handled. These chemicals can teach predators to avoid certain shapes or smells. That learning is one reason warning colors are useful by day. At night, when warning colors are less visible, the chemical still works if a bite happens. Some species also advertise chemically, releasing odors that signal unpalatability. Predators with good noses may learn to avoid those scents, reducing attacks in the first place. This shows that smell is not only for finding food. Smell can also be a warning label in the dark. For amphibians, chemical defense is especially important because movement can be slow and skin is exposed. A salamander that cannot outrun a predator may survive by being a poor meal. Insects use similar logic, making themselves costly to eat. Now we add a defense that is simpler, the defense of disappearing into structure. Burrowing, bark crevices, and leaf litter become night shelters that reduce detection time. A burrow entrance can be only a small hole, but it is a doorway into safety. Leaf litter is a soft cover that breaks up shape and muffles sound. Bark crevices offer narrow spaces that many predators cannot reach. Even a shallow depression under a rock can reduce exposure to both eyes and noses. Many small mammals plan their foraging around these shelters, never straying too far. Some insects spend daytime hidden, then return to the same shelter before dawn. Some frogs choose moist crevices that protect skin from drying out. Shelter choice is part of survival, because a safe resting place reduces the need for risky movement. In the night, a shelter also serves as a reset point, a place to stop and listen. Now we can take survival into the ocean, where darkness is often total and visibility is short. In water, blending can mean making your own light. This may sound strange, but in the deep sea, light can be used to hide as much as to reveal. Some ocean animals use counter-illumination, producing light on their underside to match the faint glow from above. In midwater, there can be a dim glow from the surface, even at depth. A predator looking upward might see silhouettes against that glow. If an animal produces light on its belly that matches the background brightness, it can erase its outline. This is called counter-illumination, and it is a form of active camouflage. It requires fine control, because the animal must match not only brightness but also the direction of light. Some species adjust their light output as they move up or down in the water column. This is a careful balancing act, like tuning a dimmer to match the sky. We will revisit counter-illumination later in the deep ocean section, because it appears in many lineages. For now, hold the simple idea. Sometimes glowing can help you disappear. Other ocean defenses use light in a different way, creating decoys and distractions. Bioluminescent decoys or glowing mucus can distract attackers long enough to escape. Some animals release a cloud of glowing material that draws attention away from the body. A predator may strike at the glowing cloud, while the prey slips into darkness. Other animals shed glowing parts, leaving a bright target behind like a tossed lantern. Some squid can eject bioluminescent fluid, creating a momentary screen. In the deep sea, where everything is dark, a sudden glow can be startling and confusing. It can also overwhelm a predator's vision for a moment, much like a camera flash in a dark room. The prey uses that moment to change direction and vanish. This is not a constant bright light. It is a brief pulse meant to buy time. As with many defenses, the goal is not victory, it is escape. Even near the surface, some plankton glow when disturbed, which can attract larger predators that may chase the attacker away. In that case, the glow acts like an alarm, calling for help indirectly. The ocean night is full of these quiet tricks, built around the physics of light and attention. Now we can return to land and tie the section together. Survival at night often begins with timing, moving less when the moon is bright and exposure is high. It continues with pathways, hugging edges and using shadows like safe lanes. It can include group timing, where moving together dilutes individual risk. And when danger comes close, defenses can flash, taste bad, or simply vanish into shelter. In water, survival can become even stranger, with active light used to hide or distract. Each strategy is a response to the same pressure, being noticed by something hungry. Yet the overall rhythm can remain calm, because most of the time, animals are choosing cautious options. They are not panicking. They are following patterns that have worked across many nights. Once you can survive the night, you can also communicate in the night. So next we move into communication after dark, using sound, scent, and living light. Now that we have survived the night, we can also talk in the night. Communication after dark often uses signals that travel well when vision is limited. Sound can travel around corners. Scent can linger after the sender is gone. And in some places, light itself becomes a language. If you are still with me, think of the quietest sound you hear at night. Maybe a distant car hum, a heater breath, or a soft wind at the window. In the wild, those subtle background sounds become part of a nightly message network. We can begin with the most surprising idea, living light used as a signal. Bioluminescence is light produced by a chemical reaction inside an organism. It is not heat glow like a fire. It is cold light, efficient and controlled. Light itself becomes a language for some species. Fireflies are one of the best known examples, flashing patterned signals above grass and along forest edges. Firefly flashes are timed patterns that help individuals find the correct species and mate. Each species tends to have its own rhythm with specific intervals and durations. A female may respond with her own timing, creating a back and forth conversation in light. The precise timing matters because many species can share the same habitat. A correct rhythm reduces wasted effort and reduces mixed signals. It is like a code that works at a glance, even when the night is dark. Some fireflies also adjust flash patterns depending on temperature, because chemical reactions change speed with warmth. So timing is not only a signature, it is also flexible within a safe range. Males often fly in gentle paths while scanning for responses. Females may sit lower on leaves, answering with a calm pulse. This light communication is both simple and refined, shaped by the need to find the right partner. But not all glowing signals are friendly invitations. Some glow worms and luminous larvae use steady light to lure insects close enough to catch. In these cases, The glow acts like bait, drawing prey toward the source. The light can suggest safety or curiosity, and an insect may drift closer. For the glowing predator, the benefit is that it can hunt without moving much. Movement costs energy and can expose the hunter. A steady glow can do the work quietly, letting prey arrive on its own. Different glowworm species use different brightness and placement, often depending on habitat. Some glow from vegetation, others from soil or crevices. The light is small, but in darkness, small light can be noticed from far away. This shows a key rule of night communication. The same signal can mean different things to different receivers. For one species, it is a love signal. For another, it is a trap. Now we carry bioluminescence into the deep sea, where sunlight disappears quickly. Many deep sea creatures use bioluminescence for signaling, distraction, or coordinated movement in darkness. In the midwater zone, glowing points can act like identity markers, helping individuals recognize each other. Some animals use light to confuse predators, releasing glowing material or flashing unexpectedly. Others use counter-illumination to hide, as we mentioned earlier, blending with faint light from above. Some species use glowing lures, dangling a light like a fishing lure to attract prey. In the deep sea, vision can still matter, but it is often tuned to blue-green wavelengths that travel best in water. That means many bioluminescent signals are in those colors because receivers can detect them well. Some deep sea animals may also coordinate movement in loose groups, using light to keep spacing in darkness. It is not a bright parade. It is a soft constellation of living dots. The deep ocean is one of the few places where light signals may be more common than sound signals for close-range communication. But even there, the messages are usually brief, because light also attracts attention. So the signal is often a pulse, a flicker, or a controlled glow that can be turned off quickly. Now we return to land and listen to the night soundscape. Night soundscapes carry information across distance. When sight lines are short, a call can travel over shrubs, around trees, and across water. Many nocturnal birds use calls for territory and partner coordination. Nightjars, owls, and other nocturnal birds use calls for territory and partner coordination when sight lines are short. A call can say, "This area is occupied." It can also say, "I am here, stay close," or "Meet me." Owls often use hoots and other vocalizations to maintain spacing with neighbors. A steady call can reduce conflict because rivals hear the boundary without needing a chase. Nightjars may use repetitive calls that carry far across open ground. The repetition helps the message stand out from wind and insects. For a pair, calling can help keep contact while hunting separately. When one bird moves, the call becomes a moving beacon. In many species, the call also carries information about body size and condition because voice quality depends on anatomy. So a single sound can communicate both presence and a hint of strength. Now we move to a sound channel that many humans do not hear at all: ultrasound. Some rodents and bats use ultrasonic social calls that are quiet to many predators but rich with detail to each other. Ultrasonic means very high frequency, above typical human hearing range. For rodents, ultrasonic calls can be used in social contexts, including mother and pup interactions and courtship. A young pup may call at high frequency, and the mother can locate it by sound. In adult interactions, ultrasonic calls can carry emotional state and intent. Because these calls are high-pitched, they do not travel as far as lower calls, which can make them more private. In bats, social calls can serve many roles beyond echolocation. Bats may use distinct calls to maintain group cohesion, coordinate roosting, or signal food opportunities. These are not the same as hunting pulses used to map space. They can include different patterns, durations, and frequencies, tailored for communication. Some may be audible, but many are ultrasonic and subtle. This creates a social layer that can exist above the human soundscape, unnoticed by us. Now we listen to one of the most familiar night choruses, frogs. Many frogs form nighttime choruses where timing helps individuals stand out among neighbors. A pond at night can become a woven blanket of calls. Each male calls to attract mates and to compete with neighbors for attention. If every frog called at the same moment, the sound would become a steady roar. But timing differences allow individuals to stand out, like voices taking turns in a crowded room. Some frogs call in bursts, leaving gaps that others fill. Some may alternate with near neighbors, reducing direct overlap. Some species also adjust call frequency and rhythm depending on the density of the chorus. The chorus can carry far, guiding females to breeding sites. It can also signal to other species, because predators and competitors listen too. Calling is not free, because it costs energy and can attract predators. So timing and position matter. And many frogs call from places that offer quick cover. A reed edge, a submerged root, or a shallow depression can be a safer calling stage. Now we can add another communication type that is almost silent: vibration. Vibration and scent can be private channels. Some desert rodents communicate with foot drumming that travels through ground and warns neighbors. A kangaroo rat, for example, may thump hind feet in a rapid pattern. The vibrations travel through soil and can be detected by nearby animals. Foot drumming can warn of predators, signal territory, or communicate agitation. Because it travels through ground, it can reach animals inside burrows. It is a way of sending an alarm without revealing position as clearly as a loud call might. Different patterns can mean different messages, and neighbors can learn those patterns. This is like tapping on a wall in a quiet building, a signal that feels private. Vibration communication also works when wind would scatter scent and when noise would be risky. Now we return to scent, which is slow but persistent. Scent marks can last for hours or days, letting a message persist long after the sender has left. A scent mark can say, "I passed here recently." It can also say, "I am healthy," "I am ready to mate," or "this space is taken." Because scent remains, it becomes a message that does not require the sender to be present. This is useful at night, when individuals may not meet often and visibility is low. A fox can leave a scent post at a trail junction, updating the map for anyone who passes later. A cat may rub a surface, leaving oils that carry identity information. A small mammal may leave scent along a runway, reinforcing a familiar route for itself and its group. Scent also blends with time, because a fresher mark is stronger and has a fuller chemical profile. So the receiver can read not only who but when. This makes scent a communication channel that includes a timestamp, written in fading molecules. The trade-off is speed, because scent does not update instantly like a call. But its persistence is the advantage, especially for animals that travel on repeated paths. When we combine these channels, we see that night communication is multi-layered. Light can be a pulse or a lure. Sound can be long-range or ultrasonic and private. Vibration can travel through ground without revealing much to distant listeners. Scent can linger and hold a message in place. Different signals fit different habitats: forest, desert, pond, or deep sea. And each signal balances reach against risk, because being heard or seen can be dangerous. This is why many messages are gentle, brief, and repeated only as needed. In a quiet night, communication is often about steady contact, not loud display. And now communication leads naturally to social life. Next, we move into how groups, families, and mating systems shift into night mode. And in that social section, we will talk about how bats share information without words. Now, we move from signals to relationships, the social and reproductive life of night animals. In darkness, finding a mate and staying safe can be the same problem. So many nighttime gatherings solve both at once. We can begin with a familiar scene: a pond at night. Frog choruses often function as mate advertisement and also a way to overwhelm predators with many targets. When many frogs call together, a predator may have trouble focusing on one individual. This can dilute risk because each frog becomes one among many possible targets. At the same time, the chorus helps females find the breeding site and evaluate potential mates. Chorus is not random noise, it has structure. Calls can overlap, alternate, and cluster in patterns that change through the night. Timing matters because it helps an individual stand out without needing to be louder. In many species, a female listens for call features that indicate species and quality. That can include call rate, pitch, and consistency. But the caller must balance attraction against exposure, because sound also attracts predators. So the chorus becomes a compromise loud enough to be found, but shared enough to reduce individual risk. Remember those moonlight patterns we talked about earlier? They shape group timing too, because bright nights can change how exposed a calling animal feels. Some choruses peak on darker nights, while others persist but shift to more covered calling spots. In a sense, the moon is part of the social calendar. Now we move from frogs to insects, where courtship can be quieter but just as complex. Many katydids and related insects court at night. Their songs travel through grass and shrubs, and the patterns help females find the correct species. In some species, males provide edible nuptial gifts that influence mate choice. These gifts can take the form of a nutrient-rich package provided during mating. For the female, a gift can provide energy or hydration that supports egg production. For the male, the gift can increase mating success and sometimes reduce the chance of being eaten or interrupted. It can also encourage longer mating, which can improve sperm transfer. This is a direct exchange, food for reproduction, shaped by the challenges of nighttime life. In dry environments, gifts that include moisture can be especially valuable. In cool nights, gifts can support the energy costs of calling and searching. Not every katydid species uses gifts, but where they occur, they add a practical layer to mate choice. The female is not only choosing a signal, she is choosing an investment. That makes courtship part communication, part resource sharing. Now we move to mammals, where social bonds often rely on contact more than display. Some nocturnal primates keep social bonds through slow grooming and soft contact rather than loud signals. Grooming can remove parasites, which is a direct health benefit. It can also maintain trust and reduce tension within the group. In low light, grooming is efficient because it does not require visibility at distance. Touch and smell can carry identity information at close range. A slow grooming session can be calming, reinforcing bonds without drawing attention from far away. Some nocturnal primates also use soft calls, but contact behaviors can be central. This fits the night strategy. Keep communication close and low risk. For group living animals, bonds are not a luxury. They are a safety system because cooperation improves survival in many ways. Now we shift from courting and bonding to shared spaces where information spreads through routine. Roosts, dens, and shared spaces create information networks. Many bats form stable roost groups. A roost can be a cave, a hollow tree, an attic, or a rock crevice. Within a roost, individuals encounter the same neighbors night after night. Over time, these groups can become stable social units. In such groups, individuals may learn good foraging areas by following experienced neighbors. A younger bat can notice when a skilled forager leaves and head in the same direction. It can also learn which routes are safe, which feeding sites are reliable, and where water can be found. This learning does not require explicit teaching. It can happen through simple copying and shared movement. Roost life also supports information exchange through social calls and proximity. Some bats may recruit others to rich feeding areas, especially when food is patchy. Even without recruitment, the pattern of departures and returns can be informative. A bat returning with a full belly signals that somewhere food was good tonight. Now we add another reason shared spaces matter: warmth and energy. Cooperative care, like shared warmth or communal nesting, can be especially valuable during cool nights. Small bodies lose heat quickly. Huddling reduces surface area exposed to the air and can save energy. For a rodent family, a communal nest can keep pups warm and reduce the cost to each adult. For bats, clustering in a roost can stabilize temperature and humidity. This can reduce water loss and support stable sleep and recovery. Warmth sharing is also a form of protection because it reduces the need to forage in unsafe conditions. If a cold night makes food gathering risky, a group that can conserve heat has an advantage. Communal nesting can also reduce predation risk because moving fewer times reduces detection. But groups must also manage disease and parasites, so roost choice and hygiene behaviors matter. Many social animals balance these costs with the benefits of shared heat and information. Now we return to timing again, because group life often begins at the moment of emergence. Some nocturnal mammals synchronize emergence times, reducing individual predation risk during the first minutes outside shelter. The first minutes outside a burrow or den can be the most dangerous. Predators may wait near entrances, knowing that movement will begin around dusk. If one animal emerges alone, it can become an easy target. If many emerge close together, the predator's attention is divided. This is another example of dilution, but it happens at a critical bottleneck. Synchronized emergence can also allow quick scanning. If one individual detects danger, the group may freeze or retreat, reducing risk for all. In some species, the timing is influenced by light level, temperature, and moon brightness. On bright nights, emergence may be delayed, or it may happen under cover of cloud or wind. So again, moonlight patterns shape social timing, not only individual behavior. Now we move to the other end of the food web, large predators that hunt together. Big predators can use darkness as teamwork cover. Some social carnivores coordinate positions silently, relying on familiarity and routine rather than constant vocalizing. A pack or pride does not need to call constantly if members know their typical roles. Familiar paths and repeated strategies can reduce the need for loud signals that would alert prey. A subtle body turn, a pause, or a shared direction choice can be enough. Silence can be part of teamwork, especially when the goal is stealth. Lions are a well-known example of nighttime advantage. Lions often hunt more at night, using low light to approach without triggering early escape. Many prey species see and respond quickly in daylight. In low light, the detection distance shrinks and approach becomes easier. A lion's tawny coat can blend into night grasses and shadowed terrain. Group hunting can then take advantage of low visibility. Individuals may position themselves to block escape routes while another moves closer. The coordination can be largely routine, built from repeated practice. Not every hunt succeeds, but night increases the chance of getting close enough to try. At the same time, lions must manage their own risk, including injuries and heat balance. Night often brings cooler temperatures, which can make long approaches less costly. So the night supports both stealth and endurance for large hunters. Now we can step back and notice the common patterns across these very different animals. Nighttime social life often favors signals that work without bright light. Sound carries in air, scent persists on surfaces, and touch builds bonds at close range. Groups also create safety through dilution and shared vigilance. Shared spaces become information hubs, and shared warmth reduces energy costs. And timing, shaped by internal clocks and moon brightness, organizes when all of this happens. Even courtship, which can seem personal, is shaped by environment and risk. A katydid song, a frog chorus, a grooming session, and a roost departure all follow the same nightly logic. Do it when it is safest, do it efficiently, and use signals that fit the dark. Before we move to habitats, here is a calm poll to carry you forward. Which habitat should we imagine first? Desert, forest, ocean, or city? In the next section, we will begin traveling through habitats, starting with desert nights. Soft reset, just a gentle pause before we change scenery. So far, we have moved through senses, timing, survival, and social life after dark. If your mind is still a little busy, let it rest on something simple. You can picture a quiet night path and a steady rhythm of small facts drifting by. If you want a specific habitat sooner, you can leave a quick vote in the comments. One word is enough: desert, forest, ocean, or city. I will use the most common vote to shape the next long episode in this series. No pressure to type more than that. And if you are drifting off, you can skip it and just keep listening. All right, we start with desert nights, where darkness is often the safest temperature. Now we arrive in the desert at night. Picture cool air settling over sand, the heat of the day slowly releasing upward. In deserts, night is often the only comfortable time to be active. Many desert animals shift activity to night to avoid daytime heat and dehydration. Daytime sun can push body temperature toward dangerous levels. Dry air also pulls moisture from skin and breath, so the safest schedule is often simple: rest in shade by day, move in cooler darkness by night. This shift changes everything: feeding, travel, hunting, and even social life. It also shapes what counts as a good shelter. A burrow is not only a hiding place, it is a temperature buffer. Even a shallow burrow can stay cooler and more humid than open air. Rocks and crevices can offer similar protection, creating small pockets of calmer climate. When evening arrives, the desert cools quickly and life begins to move again. But movement still costs water, so water saving is the core problem to solve. Some desert mammals are famous for surviving with little to no drinking water. Kangaroo rats can survive with little drinking water, using metabolic water and efficient kidneys. Metabolic water is water produced inside the body when food is broken down for energy. Seeds and plant material can provide enough fuel to generate usable water during metabolism. This does not mean the animal is creating endless water. It means it is carefully balancing losses and gains so the net remains stable. A key part of that balance is limiting water loss through urine. Kangaroo rats and other desert rodents often have very efficient kidneys that concentrate urine strongly. Concentrated urine removes waste with minimal water. This is one of the most important physiological adaptations for life in dry places. Behavior matters too. Many desert rodents stay in burrows during hot hours, reducing evaporative loss. They also forage at night when the air is cooler and sometimes slightly more humid. In some deserts, dew can form on plants at night, adding small moisture sources. Even tiny amounts can matter when the budget is tight. Breathing is another hidden pathway of water loss. Every exhale carries moisture from the lungs. Many desert mammals have nasal structures that help reclaim moisture from exhaled air. Inside the nose, complex passages and surfaces can cool the outgoing air. As air cools, moisture condenses and can be reabsorbed by nasal tissues. Then, on the next inhale, the incoming air can be warmed and humidified using that reclaimed moisture. It is like a small recycling system built into the face. This kind of countercurrent exchange reduces water loss over long nights of breathing. Some mammals also reduce daytime breathing rates by staying still and cool in burrows. And many conserve water by producing very dry feces, another quiet efficiency. The desert rewards any small savings because small savings accumulate. Now we shift from physiology to sensing because deserts are open and exposed. In open terrain, long-range detection can be valuable. A predator may be far away, but still visible as a moving outline. A prey animal may also be far away, but detectable by sound or scent carried on light wind. Desert senses often favor early warning and fast decisions. Large ears are one visible clue to this. Fennec foxes and some other desert canids use large ears for both hearing and heat release. A larger ear can pick up faint sounds like insect movement or a small rodent's footsteps. At the same time, ears contain many blood vessels close to the surface. By sending warm blood through the ear, the animal can release heat into the air, especially at night when air is cooler. This helps the canid manage body temperature without heavy sweating. Hearing and cooling in one structure a useful dual-purpose design. A fennec fox can listen for prey under sand, then dig with quick, light strokes. The open desert also means predators can be detected by sound at a distance. A rustle from a bush can travel far in still air. So ears become early warning, not only hunting tools. Now we bring in a reptile that moves with a very specific desert style, the sidewinder. Sidewinder snakes often become more active at night. Night activity helps them avoid lethal daytime surface temperatures. They can also use temperature differences in sand to choose routes. Sand is not evenly warm. After sunset, some patches cool faster than others depending on shade, wind, and surface texture. A snake can sense these gradients through its body as it contacts the ground. Choosing a cooler path can reduce overheating and conserve water. It can also influence where prey is found, because small mammals may choose certain microhabitats too. The sidewinder's distinctive movement reduces the amount of body in contact with hot sand. Even at night, contact matters, because sand can remain warm for hours. So movement style, timing, and route choice all link back to heat management. Many desert animals become experts in microclimates. A small depression can be cooler. The shaded side of a rock can hold moisture. A patch of vegetation can create a windbreak and a scent trap. At night, these small differences become the map of safe travel. Now we add hunting hotspots, because deserts are not uniform. Water sources and plant clusters create oases of insects and small animals. Many desert owls and bats concentrate hunting around oases or insect-rich patches after sunset. Insects may gather around flowers that open at night or around water that supports plant growth. Bats can take advantage of this concentration, using echolocation to pick insects out of the air. Owls may perch near these patches, listening for movement along the edges. In an otherwise sparse landscape, a single water source can anchor the night food web. Predators learn these locations and visit them repeatedly, creating reliable nightly routes. Prey also visits these places, but often with caution, hugging cover and moving in bursts. So around an oasis, the desert night can feel busy while surrounding dunes stay quiet. This is a reminder that nocturnal life can be clustered, not evenly spread. Now we can move to an adaptation that is unexpectedly visual: scorpion fluorescence. Many scorpions fluoresce under ultraviolet light. Under certain lighting, their exoskeleton can glow a blue-green color due to compounds in the cuticle. In natural conditions, ultraviolet light is present at low levels in moonlight and starlight. The exact advantage of fluorescence is still debated. One idea is that it could help scorpions detect ultraviolet levels and decide when to hide. If fluorescence changes how light is perceived by the scorpion, it could act like a light meter. Another idea is that it might provide some protection against sunlight by absorbing ultraviolet radiation. Some researchers have tested whether fluorescence influences behavior, such as movement under different light levels. The evidence is not fully settled, and different species may differ. For now, it is safest to say scorpions do fluoresce, and the function remains an active question. In a sleep-friendly way, you can treat it as a quiet mystery of the desert night. It is one more example of how even simple-looking animals can carry unusual properties. Now we move to a desert animal that responds to rare rain like a timed alarm clock: desert toads. Desert toads can emerge at night after rare rains, feeding and breeding in short, intense windows. In many deserts, rain is unpredictable, and standing water may last only a few nights. Some toads spend long dry periods underground, protected from dehydration. When rain arrives, soil moisture and temperature cues can trigger emergence. The toads surface at night when evaporation is lower and the ground is cooler. They may feed quickly on insects that also surge after rain. They may also breed rapidly in temporary pools because the window is short. Calls can fill the night, creating a sudden chorus in places that were silent the week before. Eggs and tadpoles must develop quickly before water disappears. So the toad's life history is tuned to pulses, not steady seasons. This is a desert version of body clock timing, but tied to rain events as well as day and night cycles. It shows that nocturnal activity can be about opportunity as much as comfort. Now we can pause and notice the overall desert pattern. The desert night is cooler, but it is not effortless. Animals must manage water, manage heat, and manage exposure in open space. They solve the water problem with efficient kidneys, metabolic water, and moisture recycling noses. They solve the heat problem with timing, shelter, and sometimes with large ears that release warmth. They solve the exposure problem with careful routes and quick decisions based on long-range cues. And they solve the food problem by focusing on patches, like oases and insect-rich areas. Even in a place that looks empty, the night holds routes, schedules, and hidden gatherings. If you picture cool air settling over sand, you can also picture scent and sound traveling farther in that calm air. That makes night both safer and more informative in some ways. Before we leave the desert, hold one gentle open loop. In forests, bats must solve a harder problem, echolocation in clutter. Deserts are open and simple in shape. Forests are layered and crowded, and every sense must adapt. So next we travel from open sand to layered leaves into the forest night where clutter changes everything. Now we step from open desert into the forest at night. The first thing to notice is that forest darkness is not empty. It is layered. There is the canopy above, the trunks and branches in the middle, and the leaf litter below. Light does not fall evenly here. Even on bright nights, the canopy breaks moonlight into patches and soft beams, so animals move through a world of gaps, edges, and shadows inside shadows. If you are sleepy, just let the images form. You do not have to remember everything. Under a canopy, light is patchy. So many nocturnal animals use edge paths and gaps to move efficiently. An edge in a forest can be a trail, a streamline, or the border where trees thin out. Gaps can be fallen logs, clearings, or places where branches open above. Moving through these spaces can reduce the need for constant climbing and squeezing. It can also keep travel quieter because open leaf litter can be less noisy than dense shrub tangles. For some animals, a gap is also a safer route because it offers a clear view upward for predators and obstacles. For others, edges are safer because cover is close if danger appears. So the forest contains many micro-routes, chosen based on body size, predator risk, and the night's light level. Humidity is another major layer of the forest night. As evening cools, moisture often rises near the ground. That humidity can change comfort, movement, and food availability. Many salamanders and leaf litter invertebrates are most active at night when humidity rises. Salamanders have permeable skin and lose water easily. Cool. Humid nights reduce that water loss, letting them travel farther from shelter. In the leaf litter, small invertebrates also become more active when moisture increases. Earthworms may come closer to the surface. Slugs and snails may glide out to feed. Beetles and millipedes may begin slow searches for decaying plant material and fungi. This creates a gentle surge of life on the forest floor. To the daytime eye, the forest floor can look still. At night, it becomes a moving mosaic of small bodies and small tasks. Predators that feed on these invertebrates, like some frogs, small mammals, and birds, may time their foraging to that moisture rise. So humidity becomes a schedule cue, not only a comfort cue. It shapes who is out and who is hiding. The forest floor also holds hidden food in the form of fungi and decaying plant matter. Many nocturnal foragers use smell to locate these resources beneath leaves and bark. A damp forest amplifies odor cues because moisture helps scent molecules persist and travel in close-range air. So the forest night is rich in chemical information as well as movement. Now we lift our view into the branches, where movement requires grip and careful balance. Some slow-moving nocturnal primates rely on stealth and careful grip rather than speed in dense branches. In a canopy, a fast jump can be risky. Branches can be wet, uneven, and covered with moss or leaves. A slow mover reduces risk by testing grip and shifting weight gradually. Hands and feet may have strong grasping ability, allowing secure holds in complex branch networks. Stealth is also a defense. A slow, careful movement creates less noise and less shaking of branches. That can reduce detection by predators and reduce the attention of other animals. Some nocturnal primates also use quiet social contact, grooming and gentle touch to maintain bonds without loud calls. In the canopy, quiet is useful because sound carries far and can reveal position. So in dense branches, patience is a strategy. Now we arrive at one of the forest's most important nocturnal travelers, bats. Bats adjust their sound to the cluttered world. In the desert, bat hunting can happen in open air with clear echoes. In forests, leaves and branches create constant reflections. This is the harder problem, echolocation and clutter. Forest bats often use shorter, higher frequency calls that help resolve nearby obstacles and prey among leaves. A higher frequency call can provide finer detail, because shorter wavelengths reflect off smaller objects. This can help a bat distinguish an insect from a leaf edge at close range. Shorter calls reduce overlap between call and echo, which matters when everything is nearby. If echoes return too quickly, the bat needs a brief call so it can listen right away. This is one reason clutter hunting bats often sound different from open-air bats. Their calls can be more frequent, shorter, and tuned for close-range resolution. But higher frequency calls also fade more quickly in air. So the trade is clear: more detail up close, less range far away. In a forest, range is less important because obstacles are close anyway. So the bat invests in precision rather than distance. Some bats specialize even further. Some species specialize in clutter hunting, taking insects from foliage instead of open air. This is sometimes called gleaning or foliage gleaning. A bat may listen for tiny insect sounds, like rustling on leaves, and then strike from a close hover or short drop. It may also detect prey by subtle echo changes, spotting a small bump or outline on a leaf surface. This kind of hunting requires control and careful flight. The bat must avoid hitting leaves while still reaching prey. Wing membrane touch sensing can help, and slow approaches can reduce collision risk. In some cases, bats may even pluck insects from leaves and carry them to a perch to eat. This is a quieter feeding style than chasing an insect through open air. It also makes the forest a pantry of hidden prey, not only a flight corridor. Still, even clutter specialists need routes to travel between roost and feeding areas. Many bats use forest edges as commuting corridors, balancing food density with navigational ease. An edge offers fewer reflections than deep inside dense foliage. It also concentrates insects, because many insects gather along boundaries where plants meet open air. So edges provide both food and easier navigation. A bat can travel along a hedgerow like following a natural hallway. It can also use landmarks like streams or trails that cut through the forest. This commuting corridor behavior makes bat movement more predictable. If you stand near a forest edge at dusk, you may see bats passing repeatedly along the same line. They are using memory and habitat structure together. Now we widen back out to the forest night as an ecological network. Night relationships link plants and animals, often through scent and nectar. Night blooming flowers in forests can time scent and nectar to match nocturnal visitors. A flower may open and release stronger scent at dusk when moths and bats are active. The nectar may also be freshest then, offering a reward during the visitor's active window. Moths can follow scent gradients through dense vegetation, landing guided by smell and touch. Nectar-feeding bats can also locate flowers by scent and then pollinate as they feed. In forests, where visuals are blocked, scent becomes the primary advertisement. So the plant schedules its perfume to the night, and the animal schedules its route to match. This is a form of cooperation shaped by timing and environment. Now we add a quieter, more mysterious forest light, bioluminescence. Some fungi and insects produce soft bioluminescence in forests. In some cases, the light may attract insects that then help spread spores or interact with the glowing organism. In other cases, the light may deter grazers or serve as a byproduct of chemical processes. Different glowing fungi species exist in different regions, often appearing on decaying wood. The glow can be steady and faint, like a small greenish ember in a dark log. Certain insects, including some larvae, can also glow softly in forest habitats. These lights are not bright like a lamp. They are small points that feel like a secret in the understory. Because the forest is dark, even a faint glow can be seen from a few meters away. That can shape behavior, drawing curious insects closer, or signaling a warning depending on context. Researchers continue to explore the exact benefits in different species because the forest is complex and variable. For our calm purposes, you can picture the glow as a gentle marker in the night, a tiny beacon among leaves. This ties back to our communication section, where living light can mean many things: lure, signal, or distraction. In forests, it may also become part of the nighttime atmosphere, soft and intermittent. Now we can tie the forest story together with a simple structure. The forest night is layered: canopy, trunks, and leaf litter, each with its own activity. Movement is guided by edges and gaps because light and space are patchy. Humidity rises, bringing salamanders and invertebrates out onto the leaf litter. Slow-moving primates use careful grip and stealth in branches, favoring quiet over speed. Bats solve clutter by changing call design, using shorter, higher-frequency calls and specialized hunting styles. Plants and animals meet through scent timed to dusk, and sometimes through faint forest bioluminescence. It is a crowded environment, but the strategies remain calm, careful, and predictable. If you are listening in bed, you can let the forest feel like a soft, layered room of its own. A canopy ceiling, a trunk wall, and a leaf litter floor, all gently active. And now we carry that feeling of layers into the next habitat, the ocean night. Next is the ocean night, where the biggest daily animal movement on Earth happens quietly in the dark. Now we enter the ocean at night. Here, darkness is not only the absence of sunlight. It is a moving structure, a daily pattern that reshapes the whole water column. To stay calm, we can take a slow-scale shift, from one plankton to a whole ocean column. Nighttime in the ocean is defined by vertical movement. This is one of the biggest daily animal movements on Earth, happening quietly every night. It is called diel vertical migration. Diel means daily and vertical means up and down. Diel vertical migration sends huge numbers of zooplankton upward at night and downward by day to reduce predation. During daylight, many small plankton stay deeper, where light is dim and predators have a harder time seeing them. At night, when the surface becomes safer, they rise to feed on microscopic algae and other food near the top. Then, as dawn approaches, they sink again into darker depths. This is not a single species doing a single trip. It is a layered crowd of tiny animals moving like a slow elevator. Because the travelers are so numerous, the migration can shape the entire food web. The ocean night becomes a buffet that appears near the surface for a limited window. Many fish and squid follow this nightly buffet, creating layered feeding zones in the dark. Some predators follow the plankton upward and feed in midwater. Others wait near the surface and pick off the animals that rise. Squid may rise from deeper zones and hunt in water that was empty an hour earlier. Some fish feed in one layer, while larger fish patrol above or below, making tiers of predation. This creates a moving stack of life, with each layer watching the layer beneath it. In this way, the ocean has a nightly schedule built on vertical movement. It is a body clock pattern, but written in space as well as time. Oceanographers can detect this movement using acoustic instruments because so many bodies reflect sound. On a screen, the migration can appear as a band that rises at night and sinks by day. That band is living tissue, millions of mouths feeding and avoiding being eaten. If you imagine it slowly, it can feel like a quiet breathing of the sea. Up at night, down by day, steady and repeated. Now we move from open water to reefs, where the night shift also changes who is present. On reefs, many daytime fish shelter at night, while nocturnal species take over the same spaces. A reef is a complex structure with many hiding places. During the day, bright light makes many fish visible to predators. At night, some species reduce movement and tuck into crevices to sleep or rest. Parrotfish may even form a mucus cocoon in some species, adding an extra layer of protection. In the same reef corridors, nocturnal hunters become active. Moray eels may leave shelters to hunt. Some crustaceans and sea stars move out to forage. Nocturnal fish that were hidden during the day may emerge and feed. So the reef does not go quiet at night. It changes characters. A coral head that sheltered one species by day may become a hunting ground for another by night. This shift can reduce competition because different species use the same space at different times. It also spreads risk because not everyone is active when predators are most effective. The reef is like a city with a day crew and a night crew. And in the ocean, many messages are carried by light because sound and scent behave differently underwater. Now we move deeper, where light is scarce and living light becomes common. Bioluminescence becomes both defense and communication. Many deep sea animals flash or glow when disturbed. This can startle predators or act as a distraction. In some cases, the glow can attract bigger predators that may chase the attacker away. This is sometimes called the burglar alarm idea. If a small animal is grabbed, it flashes, and the flash draws attention. A larger predator may arrive and target the attacker, creating a chance for the smaller animal to escape. The deep sea is dark enough that a brief flash can be seen from surprisingly far away, so a tiny glow can call in help indirectly, even if help arrives by accident. Not every flash is an alarm. Some are signals to others of the same species. A pulse can say, "I am here, keep spacing," or "follow me." In a black water world, light is a clean signal, but it is also risky. So signals are often brief and controlled, used only when needed. Now we add a more active defense, glowing decoys. Some species release glowing particles or mucus, creating a moving decoy trail. A glowing cloud can pull a predator's attention away from the body. It can also confuse the predator's tracking because the bright target is no longer the prey itself. Some animals shed glowing material like a smoke screen. Others eject a stream that drifts behind them as they change direction. In that moment, the ocean becomes a stage of light and shadow, even though it is dark. The goal is simple: buy a few seconds to vanish. In the deep sea, a few seconds can be enough because there are few landmarks. If the predator loses the target, it may not be able to reacquire it easily. Now we add an especially interesting twist: color in a place that seems colorless. A few deep sea fish produce very specific colors of light, including red wavelengths that many other animals cannot see well. Most deep sea animals are most sensitive to blue-green light because those wavelengths travel best in water. Red light is absorbed quickly in seawater, so very little red light from the surface reaches depth. That means many deep sea animals have limited sensitivity to red. If a fish can produce red light and also see it, it gains a private channel. It may illuminate prey without alerting competitors that cannot detect red. Or it may communicate with its own species using a wavelength that others miss. This is not universal, but it is a fascinating example of the ocean inventing secrecy. It shows that even in darkness, evolution can carve out a niche of perception. In a calm way, you can imagine a tiny red glow that is invisible to most eyes, like a whisper of light. Now we rise back toward the surface and connect ocean night to land. Ocean nightlife connects back to land in several ways. One connection is through large hunters that time feeding to the vertical migration clock. Many whales and dolphins adjust feeding to nighttime prey movement. When prey rises toward the surface, it becomes easier to access. Dolphins may feed on fish that gather in upper layers at night, Some whales may target krill or small fish when they are concentrated in a certain depth band. This links the hunt to the daily up and down rhythm of prey. In some regions, predators may feed more intensively at night because prey is closer and denser. In other regions, the timing can vary with season, moonlight, and ocean conditions. Still, the principle is steady. Predators track prey, and prey tracks plankton, and plankton track light. The ocean is a chain of timing, with each link responding to the one below. Acoustic sensing also plays a role here. Toothed whales can use echolocation to find prey in dark or cloudy water. They may switch click patterns as they approach, matching the final moments to the prey's movements. So even in the sea, we return to our themes, timing and sensing working together. Now we add a second land connection, sea turtle hatchlings. Sea turtles often hatch and move at night when sand is cooler and many predators are less active. Cooler sand reduces overheating and dehydration during the first crawl. Night also reduces the number of visual predators that hunt by day. Hatchlings typically use the natural horizon glow to find the ocean, as we discussed earlier. On dark beaches, the water side is often brighter and more open than the dune side. This helps hatchlings orient correctly and reach the sea quickly. But this is also where our open loop returns. In cities, artificial light can erase the ocean's dark cues too, and turtles are a clear example. Bright beachfront lights can pull hatchlings inland, away from the water. This is why lighting management near nesting beaches can matter so much. Even a small shield or a warmer colored light can reduce confusion in some cases. The hatchling is tuned to a world where the ocean is the brightest line. When humans change that line, the map breaks. So the ocean night is not isolated from human choices. It is connected through coasts, through fishing, and through light. Now we can tie the entire ocean section into a calm summary. The ocean night begins with a massive vertical migration. Zooplankton rise in darkness and sink in daylight to reduce predation. Fish and squid follow, creating layered feeding zones that move through the water column. On reefs, daytime species shelter, while nocturnal species take over the same spaces. In the deep sea, bioluminescence becomes a tool for signaling, startling, and distraction. Some animals release glowing decoys, and a few use rare wavelengths like red for private illumination. Whales and dolphins link their hunts to the nightly rise of prey, and sea turtles begin life by moving at night, guided by cool sand and natural horizon glow. If you keep one image from this section, let it be the sea breathing upward and downward with living layers. A moving midnight, quiet, rhythmic, and immense. Finally, we bring all these night strategies into the modern habitat, cities and artificial light. Now we bring the night story into a modern habitat, cities. A city at night can feel bright to us, but to many animals, it is a strange new kind of dusk. There are new food sources, new shelters, and new dangers. Cities create new food webs after dark. One reason is simple. Human activity leaves resources behind. Trash, compost, pet food, and gardens can provide steady meals. Some urban animals adjust by changing their timing. Urban foxes, raccoons, and some rodents often shift to deeper night activity to avoid humans. The quieter hours can begin after midnight when traffic drops and doors close. An animal that waits for deeper night reduces the chance of direct encounters. It also reduces stress and allows calmer foraging routes. You might see this as a new version of moonlight timing. Instead of a bright moon, the risk cue is human presence and noise. So the animal uses a human schedule as part of its own body clock. Cities also create new edges and corridors. Fences, walls, alleys, and rail lines can act like protected lanes, similar to hedgerows in the countryside. An animal can move along these structures while staying partly hidden. Storm drains and culverts can connect neighborhoods like underground trails. This is why some species can travel through a city with surprising efficiency. Now we add a very important city feature, artificial light. Streetlights can concentrate insects, which can increase feeding opportunities for bats and some birds. Many insects are attracted to lights, especially certain wavelengths. Around a lamp, insects can gather and circle in dense clouds. For a bat, that can be a predictable hunting patch, like an oasis in the desert. Some bats will patrol along rows of streetlights, picking insects out of the air. Some birds that feed on insects may also take advantage of this, extending activity beyond sunset. In this case, light creates a food hotspot. But the hotspot comes with trade-offs. The insects may be drawn away from natural habitats, changing pollination and food availability elsewhere. Predators that feed at lights may do well, while light-sensitive prey may avoid the area. So the city rewires who eats whom simply by changing where insects gather. Now we add another city advantage for predators: human structures themselves. Some predators exploit human structures. Ledges, bridges, and rooftops become hunting or nesting sites. A bridge can provide shelter from rain and wind. A rooftop can provide a warm surface and a wide view. A building ledge can become a perch for an owl or a hawk that hunts at dawn and dusk. A spider can build webs in corners where insects collect, creating a steady trap. Some predators may hunt around dumpsters or outdoor restaurants, where rodents are drawn to food waste. In some cases, human structures also create safe den sites under sheds, in abandoned buildings, or in thick hedges. So cities do not only add light and food, they add architecture that animals can use as habitat. Now we move to the more difficult side of city nights: how artificial light changes navigation and body clocks. Earlier, we talked about star patterns, moonlight gradients, and internal clocks tied to darkness. In cities, those cues can be altered or erased. Sky glow can wash out stars, reducing celestial cues for many species. Bright lights can create false horizons, like a constant artificial dawn. And even dim nighttime light can change hormone timing in some animals. Even dim nighttime light can shift hormone timing, nudging activity and sleep patterns. Darkness normally supports a strong nightly rise in melatonin and other time signals. When light intrudes, that signal can be weakened or shifted. Animals may become active at odd times or rest less deeply. Some may extend foraging into later hours, while others may avoid lit areas and become crowded into darker patches. In either case, the natural rhythm becomes harder to maintain. This can affect reproduction timing, immune function, and stress hormones in some species. The effects can be subtle and long-term, not always visible in a single night. But over weeks and seasons, small timing shifts can matter. Now we bring in navigation risks for birds. Night migrating birds can become disoriented by bright lights, increasing collision risk around buildings. Many migrants travel at night and use a mix of star cues, magnetic cues, and landscape features. Bright lights can draw birds toward urban areas, especially in fog or low cloud conditions. When visibility is poor, birds may circle around lit buildings, staying in the bright zone instead of continuing on course. That increases exhaustion and increases the chance of hitting glass or structures. Tall buildings with bright lighting can be especially risky when birds are moving through at the same time. This is why some cities run lights-out programs during peak migration periods. Reducing unnecessary night lighting can lower the attraction effect and reduce collision risk. It is a simple change with measurable benefits in many contexts. Now we return to our earlier ocean and beach story, turtles. Sea turtle hatchlings can be drawn away from the ocean by artificial glow, reducing survival on lit beaches. Hatchlings are tuned to move toward the brighter, open horizon, which is usually the sea. When beachfront lighting makes the land brighter than the water, that cue reverses. Hatchlings may crawl inland toward roads, parking lots, or vegetation. They can become dehydrated, attacked, or lost before reaching water. Even small sources of light can matter, because hatchlings are low to the ground and see the horizon strongly. This is why shielding, dimming, and careful light placement near nesting beaches is a major conservation focus. It is also a clear example of how city glow reaches beyond city borders. Light travels far across water and sand, changing cues for animals that never enter the city itself. Now we move to the hopeful part, small changes that make nights healthier for wildlife and humans. Many solutions are simple and practical. Shielded downward-facing lights reduce sky glow while keeping paths usable for people. When a fixture points downward, less light spills into the sky and into nearby habitats. That means less star washout and less brightening of tree lines and shorelines. It also reduces glare for people, often improving visibility on the ground. Shielding is like putting a lampshade on outdoor lighting, guiding light where it is needed. Another helpful change is intensity and color. Warmer toned, lower intensity lighting and timed dimming often reduce ecological disruption compared with bright, broad spectrum light. Warmer toned lights have less short wavelength blue content. Many animals are especially sensitive to blue-rich light at night. Reducing blue content can reduce attraction for some insects and reduce circadian disruption for some species. Lower intensity means the light does its job for humans without flooding a whole neighborhood with glow. Time dimming or turning off non-essential lights late at night can restore a deeper darkness window. That supports both wildlife rhythms and human sleep. If a light is needed early in the evening, it may not be needed at 3 in the morning. Motion sensors can also help in some locations, providing light only when someone is present. The goal is not to make cities unsafe or dark for people. The goal is to make light precise, intentional, and kind to the night. Now we can end this section with a calm toolkit prompt to hold in your mind. Which single change would help your neighborhood nights most? Shielding, dimming, or warmer bulbs? Each one connects back to what we learned earlier. Shielding helps star visibility and reduces false horizons, supporting navigation. Dimming restores stronger darkness signals, supporting body clocks and melatonin patterns. Warmer tones reduce disruption and reduce insect attraction changes, easing the new food web effects. Small changes can bring back a more natural gradient of night, and that can help both people and wildlife share the same space with less conflict. Cities will always be bright compared to forests and deserts, but they can still have healthy darkness pockets, corridors, and timing windows. When we design light carefully, we create calmer nights for everyone. Now we gently tie the night world together and leave you with a calm map of what you just learned. If you would like another 2-hour calm science night, subscribe so it is easy to find later. And leave one topic you want next: space, oceans, forests, or the human brain at rest. Thank you for listening, and I hope the night feels a little gentler now.